Hold on. Okay. This will do for today. This will do. This will do. All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm going to wait for a few people to go live. And as usual, if nobody shows up, then they don't show up. It'll be okay. Um, happy Friday. I'm so happy. It is the weekend. And it is day 19 of LiveMas. I can't believe I have been going live every day since the beginning of December. Like, that is insanity to me. I really can't believe it. So I'm really proud of myself for sticking through it. I'm really proud of myself for going through it. I'm really proud of myself for just hanging on. It's not easy. Coffee's back. Coffee is so good, y'all. This is, oh, beautiful. Yes. Hey, London. How are you? Welcome to the live. Welcome. I was just saying that I'm just so happy that it's Friday. Happy Friday to you, TGIF. I'm so happy that it's finally Friday and it's day 19, y'all. Day 19. I can't believe I've been sticking through it for this long. It's been insane and just trying to get the time difference. Likewise, stunning. Oh, me? What? Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. I, y'all be hyping me up, man. I just be, man, when I tell you I've been so tired lately. Like, I got my cycle about a few days ago. I know I didn't show it, but I have my cycle, and usually when I have my cycle, I'm just really tired. I get so bloated. I feel so exhausted. And so me even coming on live was a miracle, because usually I'd be like, yo, I ain't got time. I'm gonna go to sleep. But I took a long nap this afternoon and now I'm refreshed. So I'm ready to show up for you guys. I'm gonna see who else is gonna join. I usually go live a little later, but in any case, it'll just be us, and I'll just keep yapping until people join. How's your day going, London, if you're still here? I hope your day's going well. Hope your Friday's going well. It's almost 1 week until Christmas. I actually really can't believe it. Only 1 week until Christmas. Like, that's insane. And next week will end my live spree, my going live spree. And you know what the funniest thing is that, like, I've been going live every day, y'all. I've been losing subscribers left and right. I think it's because I kept going live too much and people got tired of me going live so much, but it's okay. You know, it happens. You said blessed. Thank you. Prepared. Merry Christmas. Great blessed New Year's. You too. You too. I hope you have a good one. Yeah, so it looks like people are going in and out today. So I'm just gonna start my live. I'll wait like maybe 2 more minutes. I want to show you guys what it looks like outside. Actually, it looks pretty nice out today. It's not raining today, thank God. It's been raining for the past few days out here in Victoria. So I'll just show you guys the sunset. Sun's about to set. So this is what it looks like outside right now of my apartment. It's a little gray. Sky is very, I guess, dark. It's very cloudy. But making the most of this winter weather. This is our winter weather. I don't know if it's snowing in other parts of where other people are, but it's okay. All right, so let me, oh, hold on. Why is my receiver, hold on, y'all. I gotta make sure this receiver is working, because I don't know if you guys can hear it. Hold on a second. Let me flip my camera. This is a new mic, so hopefully it is working properly. I really hope so. But I don't see the hold on. I might have to turn my mic on and off. Hold on a second, y'all. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Now it's connected. I don't know. Sometimes this new mic, I got this new mic and I'm still trying to work through it. So, all right. So it looks like it's just me and you, London, or whoever joins in. So I'm going to just start talking. Y'all, there's a lot going on in politics right now. I think the other day I had spoken about a little bit about the Canadian system and about how we want our prime minister out, but he doesn't want to leave. And so we've been dealing with that. And we're kind of having a little bit of a situation here in Canada. It's pretty sad because, you know, our economy again is tanking. Our loonie is the hold on, I'm gonna show y'all some Canadian dollars right now. Let me see if I got a loonie. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all what Canadian money look like. Let me see if I can find a loonie in this drawer. If I can't, it's okay. I'll show you what a toonie looks like. So oh, yep, I have a loonie. Yay! Good. This is for educational purposes. So in Canada, we have coins, right? So this is a loonie. This is a Canadian dollar. All right. This little thing is a dollar. We don't have like the same dollar that Americans have, like the $1 bill. We actually have these coins. And so our dollar has tanked. It's been going down. Uh, we've been having a rough year in Canada. I'm gonna let y'all know that right now. Right now, let me see what the Canadian dollar is to the US dollar. So our dollar, this little thing right here is $1 Canadian, and it's only worth 74 cents in America. So every time we buy something, it's only 74. If it's like for every dollar, it's only worth 74 cents. So right now we're going through it in our economy. Our loonie keeps going lower. And this is a toonie. So this is a $2 bill in Canada. So loonie and toonie. $2 bill, $1 bill. Or $1 coin, I should say. So our economy's been going down, and we've been dealing with a lot of things: precarious housing, our housing crisis. We have a lot of homelessness, as I mentioned before, and our prime minister doesn't want to leave. So now the problem with him not leaving is that people getting fed up. So I'm gonna go over what's been going on today. So recently, in the last video, I had mentioned that Jagmeet Singh, so basically Pierre Poilievre is one of the conservative leaders. He wants Trudeau out, and he's been trying to get Trudeau out since the beginning of the year. But every time he would motion for Trudeau to go out, so motion a vote of no confidence, Jagmeet Singh, who is the leader of the NDP party, would block him. Now the problem is that Jagmeet Singh and Trudeau, they was homeboys, right? So they were really close, and he had his back. He had Trudeau's back, so nobody could get him out of office. Now, recently, as I mentioned in the previous video that I did, I think about 2 days ago, Chrystia Freeland, our Minister of Finance, resigned. And so once she resigned, then that kind of made everyone think, hi, little mama, how are you? How are you? How are you? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I was just going over the drama that is Canadian politics right now, and then I'm going to get into the my career history after. So basically what I was saying was that Jagmeet Singh would always block Trudeau leaving. Okay, so we have kind of a similar situation as South Korea does, in the sense that we don't want our prime minister there, but he's just forcing his way in. Like, he just does not want to leave. And today, so this is really big news, y'all. Today, Jagmeet Singh finally has had enough. So he is not backing Trudeau up anymore. Want to start over for your new career? Congrats. Yeah. Yeah. So now, he career. Oh no, not start over for my career. I'm just gonna talk about my career history and kind of highs and lows of me being the corporate girly, I guess, corporate, girl. But yeah, so I'm just gonna quickly talk about what's going on in our landscape in Canada. And it's been rough for us, and I know in the US too. Y'all got a government shutdown pending probably right now. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then I'll get into the nitty gritty of my corporate career. So yeah, so Jagmeet Singh has finally had enough. And basically, because Chrystia Freeland left, who is our Minister of Finance, our Prime Minister had to scramble and create a whole new cabinet. So he's creating new cabinets, y'all. He's grasping on straws right now. Like, he's trying to stay in power. And the writing is on the wall. We're going to have a new election soon. 100% we're having a new election soon. So I'm just going to read what Jagmeet Singh, the same thing that I did with Chrystia Freeland, her resignation letter. I will read Jagmeet Singh's, not resignation letter, but his letter is more of like, we will no longer support Trudeau. And so we're going to have an election. Canada's having a prime minister. We're going to elect our new prime minister soon. probably in February, because Jagmeet Singh said the next time that they vote in our House of Commons, when the motion goes through for the vote of non-confidence, that he will go against Trudeau. This is major, y'all. This is huge news, and that's why I'm talking about it, because things will change, especially because of the proposed tariff hike by President-elect Donald Trump. Then this will put us in a really bad financial situation up here in Canada. And a lot of people don't have confidence that our current prime minister can actually combat this and can actually pull us through this tough time. So I'll read a little bit about what Jagmeet Singh wrote, and then after that, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the U.S. shutdown, because that's all tied together. I'm telling y'all, everything is all tied together. And this is right in time for the end of the year. Merry Christmas, right? There's an Amazon strike. There was a Canada Post strike. There's just a lot of chaos going on. And in the midst of this, we're supposed to have a Merry Christmas, y'all. Next week is Christmas. It's supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year. We're supposed to be festive and joyous. And by the way, y'all, oh, I forgot to mention, I'm so sorry. I was yapping away. I forgot to mention karaoke night has been postponed till Monday. In case you are here for karaoke night, that will be on Monday and Tuesday, because I figured it's just easier to do it back to back since next week is Christmas and we could just spend time together right before Christmas instead of doing it Friday and Wednesday. But anyways, that's a PSA. PSA karaoke night will be next Monday and next Wednesday. So Jagmeet Singh said, he wrote on X, this is what he wrote on X. He said, Justin Trudeau failed in the biggest job a prime minister has, to work for the people, not the powerful. The NDP, which is the New Democratic Party, it's a party in Canada, will vote to bring this government down and give Canadians a chance to vote for a government who will work for them. So then he wrote a whole letter. It's dated for today, December 20th. When I tell y'all this is hot, fresh, hot off the presses. This is like, we ain't even have time to really let this sink in that we're going to have another election. And literally, like, I found out in the middle of the workday, like probably in the morning. And I know that we're probably, I'll talk about that a little bit later, but my job is connected a little bit to this, and Dom's job is connected to this as well. So it's going to affect us in certain ways. So he wrote, fellow Canadians, the Canadian dream is a good job that gets you a home and a fridge full of groceries with enough leftovers saved for vacations. A country where healthcare is always there as soon as you need it. I believe every Canadian deserves that. The Trudeau Liberals said a lot of right things, then they let people down again and again. Justin Trudeau failed in the biggest job as prime minister a prime minister has, and that is to work for the people, not the powerful, to focus on Canadians, not themselves. The Liberals don't deserve another chance. That's why the NDP will vote to bring this government down and will give Canadians a chance to vote for a government who will work for them. No matter who is leading the Liberal Party, this government's time is up. We will put forward a clear motion of no confidence in the next sitting of the House of Commons. Y'all, this is very important. I called for Justin Trudeau to resign, and he should. He can't fix healthcare. He can't build homes you can afford. He can't lower your bills. I have always fought for people. I fought like hell to get dental care, free birth control, and diabetes medication. I don't know if most of you know, but we get free birth control in our province. So you can actually go to the pharmacy and get free birth control. I didn't give up when Justin Trudeau said no, and I won't let Pierre Poilievre take it all away. The next fight is a big one. Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives will give CEOs and big businesses anything they want and make callous cuts to pay for it. They will cut healthcare, childcare, housing, and people's pensions. Canadians can come together and build a country where we take better care of each other, a country where we create good jobs, stand up to the threats of Trump's tariffs, and where everyone has a chance to succeed. I will be working hard to build a movement that can win in the next election. Join me in this fight. Y'all, this is major. This is major. So, like I said before, our prime minister has been in office for 10 plus years, and this is the first time that the NDP has not backed him up. And so yeah, this is what's going on in Canada. Not next month, in February, because the Senate, I think the president is gonna be on vacation for a month. Go figure. And then when he comes back, y'all, we gonna start voting. So I'm gonna keep y'all updated on Canadian news going forward, because this will be major for us. We're also going to be changing our prime minister. So U.S. will get a new president. Canada is going to have a new prime minister. And South Korea will also have a new president soon. And other countries are going through turmoil in their own political situation. Mexico just had a new president. She's just got into office. She's fresh in there. So yeah, I'm just giving you guys a little bit update as to what's going on. So we'll have an election, and I'll let you guys know how that works out and what happens from there on. Now, going next, this is another update I wanted to give you guys, was the government shutdown in America. So apparently, I think right now they're voting for, or they're trying to get the spending from now until March. And if this doesn't go through, then your government's going to be shut down, and it's going to affect a lot of services. So as it stands, as of right now at this time, apparently the House came and voted, and they agreed, or they voted on the funding. So they agreed on the funding, and then it's up to the Senate to pass it through before midnight. And I think right now on the East Coast, it is 7 o'clock. So y'all still got a little bit of time. This was definitely something that was averted, thank God, because if it didn't go through in the US, you guys would have had a lot of issues, especially with travel, especially because a lot of people are going out of town soon. A lot of programs would have been stopped. A lot of government funding would have stopped, and there would have been probably like a halt in so much, I guess, critical services that, Americans need on a daily basis. So I'm actually really happy that they came to an agreement. And right now, as it stands, it is going to go forth before the Senate. And we'll see what happens. So here's the breakdown of the vote on the House spending bill. 196 Democrats voted to pass the bill. 170 Republicans voted to pass the bill, and 34 Republicans rejected the bill. So thank God. So at least, yeah, there was a crisis that was averted. So that's what's going on in the U.S. news. And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's drones. Whole bunch of drone stuff. I don't know what's going on. Drones showing up everywhere. I honestly, okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm feeling very nervous. And not very nervous. I don't want to say very nervous because I know God got me. But this is similar to COVID. It's like, I remember when COVID happened, there was just weird energy going on. And it was similar to this kind of energy. And it was like, just, I remember vividly around December, I remember I kept watching the news and I kept seeing like, oh, there's something going around, there's something spreading. And then all of a sudden, a few months later, it just became mayhem. It was chaos. And I think right now, there's just a lot going on. I wouldn't say, I just try to keep you guys up to date as to what's happening because, again, it affects all of us. But at the same time, it's like every day there's always something. Every day there's a drama. Every day there's something. So it's like, I thought that by the end of, when I started 2024, I was really optimistic because I was like, okay, you know what? Like, inflation is here, but it's okay. We're going to ride it out. We're going to write it out. By the end of the year, everything will be, a little bit back to normal. Mind you, guys, we've been going through this for 4+ years. 4 years. 4 years of uncertainty. That's a long time, right? So I think that for me personally, I just was hoping that there would be like at least a little break, a little breaky break, just a little bit of time of peace. We could all be good, but it's like it's getting worse and worse. But anywho, it's just that is life. Like I said, we can't control what we can't control. We just have to stay on top of it and just get to just keep up with current events, y'all. And that's why I bring it to you guys, just so you know what's going on, so that way you won't be shocked when things happen, because things are happening really quickly. I think that right now, because of the holidays, things are at a standstill, but come January, February, there'll be a lot of changes that are going to happen, and that'll not just be in the US, it'll be all over. It's like a ripple effect, right? So we just have to be on guard and just, pay attention. That's it. That's all. So that's what I have to say about that. Now, let's get to the career talk. All right. So as you guys can see by my title, I am going to talk about my experience as a corporate girly, especially a corporate girly POC / Black woman in corporate. All right. I didn't know how to start this, so I got a lot of notes, y'all, because I wanted to remember. I had to make sure I didn't miss nothing. And matter of fact, I gotta go and drag my email because there's an email I'm gonna read to y'all that came. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about my work history. So yesterday I talked about why I went back to school and graduated and later in life. And today I'm gonna talk about just my career journey and what I've learned. Someone had asked me, it was someone yesterday. I'm gonna see if I could get your name, sis. But she had asked me the highs and the lows. I believe it was CFT who asked me that. And little mama, if you're still here, I remember you asked me how to be confident. So I will touch up on that as well. So let's start with my corporate journey. So when I started in corporate, first of all, okay, before I start my corporate journey, sorry, I'll be all over the place sometimes. Let's start with how I started working. Okay, so I got my first job when I was 15 years old. 15 years old. I was very young. I knew from a young age that I was really a hustler. I was ambitious. I remember my mom, she actually, when she was pregnant with me, she told me she worked up until she gave birth. And that just made sense because I was wondering where my hustle came from. And my mom's a hustler. She be hustling and I hustle too. So it only made sense, right? So up until she worked up until she gave birth and no one even knew she was pregnant with me. So she said I was really good baby, like I didn't bother her, like she had a great pregnancy with me. And I was born, by the way, within 15 minutes of my mom going into labor. I did not want to stay in that belly. I was ready to be out and start being a productive citizen of society. So I always say that, like I was out the womb, I was always that girl. So I was 15 years old when I decided to start working. And the reason that I decided to start working is because I always wanted my own money. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I don't like depending on other people for finances. I hate depending on people for finances. I hate depending on my parents. I remember I used to always have to ask my parents for money, and the money didn't come fast enough. So I was like, look, I need the money right now. And they'd be like, no, you gotta wait because we got 5 other mouths to feed. I have 5 siblings. They were like, we have 5 other mouths to feed. So we can't give you what you want. And I was like, no, I want my money right now. So that's why I decided at 15 years old, I was like, you know what? I want to get a job. And at first my parents were against it. But then they decided, okay, it was the best thing. They were like, okay, as long as you keep your grades up, then we'll do it. No problem. So I started working I'm going to give y'all the tea, all the jobs I had. I worked at Haagen-Dazs ice cream, y'all. I was eating ice cream and making ice cream at the same time. So that was my first job. I got paid $5.15 an hour. I don't know what minimum wage is right now, but this was when I was 15, which was in 2000, around 1999, 2000-ish, because I was 14 in 2000. So 2000, 2001-ish, $5.15 an hour. So hopefully the minimum wage in the US is higher than that because that would be very sad if it hasn't gone that much higher since 2001. I haven't checked. But anyways, I was making $5.15 an hour. And then after that, I was in retail again. So I worked at Ralph Lauren when I was 16. And then when I was 17, I worked at Cece's Pizza, which was like a pizzeria. And then when I was 18, I moved to Canada. And I moved to Canada. And then I worked at McDonald's. So I worked at McDonald's for like 6 months, y'all. I worked at, hi, honey. Oh, Dom just got me. Hold on a second. So Dom just came home. This is what did you get this at a gift exchange?
We had a team meeting and then the team leader gave me.
Yo, why they gave me these palm reading cards? Chill. Palm reading cards. Interesting. I don't even know how to read palms. I don't know. Maybe somebody's going to tell me how to do this. What is this? Are you ready to discover the secrets hidden in the palm of your hands? Palm reading has been used since ancient times to unravel your emotional, creative, and spiritual directions. What mysteries will you uncover? Interesting. These cards found themselves in my house. Okay. I'll check it out. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So yeah, when I was 18, I worked at McDonald's for 6 months. This was in Montreal, downtown. Y'all, that McDonald's was a hot mess. Okay, like, y'all, they used to be, oof. Anyways, there used to be some people that were, a little unhoused. I don't want to call them homeless. And they used to go to the bathroom and defecate in the bathroom. Like, it was in the heart of downtown. So there were a lot of drunkards there. There were a lot of unhoused people. But then there were a lot of, it was a lot of families during the daytime. It was just a busy area. And while I was working there, this is where I had my first experience of microaggressions. Now, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm gonna try to be peace. I'm trying to be nice here, but I gotta be honest. And if I have subscribers that are of this race, please do not take offense to what I say. I have to preface this by saying I'm not saying all people. I'm just saying some people. Okay. And you know what was so crazy is when I started working at that McDonald's, that was the first time because, mind you, in Florida, no, actually, no, in Florida, oh, spill the tea. Little mama, I got tea. Okay, let me rewind. When I worked in Florida, I did experience that too. While I was working at Ralph Lauren, there was this Korean woman. I love you, Dom. I love my husband, but there was this Korean woman and she was rotund. I made that the point because she remember y'all remember a Jasmine Crockett. I don't know if y'all saw that meme where she was calling that blonde girl bad built butch body whatever. That was her. She was the bad built butch body person in our area. She was our boss, and she would talk down to people. And most of the people that worked at that Ralph Lauren were of other POCs. So it was like, most people were black. We had Hispanic people working there. And she would talk to us like we was her little minions, like we was her like slave workers. And I ain't like how she talked to me. So that was my first experience with racial microaggressions. It was like when she would ask me to do stuff, it would be more like, oh, you didn't fold this properly. You got to do it again. She would throw the shirts. Y'all, she would throw the shirts. I dealt with that before. Yup, I was 16 years old and she was a little older than me. And the thing is, she was bad built body. And again, I don't like to make fun of people's bodies and stuff like that. I don't like to body shame. But her, like, I don't care. If you mean, I'm going to body shame you a little bit. Because she was badly built. And I think she felt some type of way because we was all looking good. And she couldn't look like us maybe. I don't know what it was. But she just came with she was just so picky for no reason, and she was just always nagging at us and talking badly to us, talking down to us. She would just throw things, yell at us in front of people. Like, she was just very rude. And I realized then that I was like, yeah, this is where I started experiencing different racial type of stereotypes. I remember, like, people used to always, because I used to get my hair done all the time. At that time, this was Romy, like, that was looking good. And, people used to always say, oh my God, wow, you're so well spoken and you're so pretty. And I don't know, I don't be liking when people say you're well spoken because I was like, what am I supposed to sound like? You know what I mean? So this is when I started to get a little, like, taste of what microaggressions were. And I was young, so I made my paycheck, did my thing, and I left. So I ended up leaving that job. That was the first experience. So then fast forward to McDonald's when I was 18 years. Oh no, when I worked at CC's Pizza. Okay, we're gonna talk about that again. CC's Pizza. This was an Italian man. Oh, you know what? Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna go down memory lane. Sorry, y'all. I missed a lot of incidents. It's like now that I'm talking about it, it's all popping up in my head. Okay, when I worked at Haagen-Dazs, the first ice cream place, I did experience. Okay, he wasn't doing microaggressions, but what he would do, and I remember his old behind. Rest in peace, because I'm sure he gone. He was an old man. And his name was Dave. He was the owner. Now, his son, there was an owner and the son. The son was mad cool. The son did not care. He was like, okay, you guys do whatever you guys have to do. You clock in, clock out. His son was so nice. But the father was another. He was an older white male. And I don't know what nationality they were. I don't want to pinpoint a nationality on them. But remember, I grew up in South Florida. So at the time, it was a lot of Hispanic people, Black people, and a little few white Jewish people and other people mixed in, but a mostly highly Hispanic community. So we're going to touch up on that. So then I remember this old man, every time we would work, he would literally sit there and watch us. Sit there and watch us. And watch everything that we were doing. And I felt so uncomfortable at the time. But I realized that I was like, okay, you know what? It could just be he just doesn't, I don't know. Because I could see it in a way where it's like you have young kids working. You want to make sure that they're calculating things properly. But it was so uncomfortable, y'all. It was so uncomfortable. So he would just sit there watching us during I can't stand people like that. Lil Mama, we was on our shift. He would literally sit there and watch us work. Sit at the seat right here and watch us work. And then he'd be like, oh, hey, you didn't do this. Or, hey, you didn't do that. Hey, you didn't do that. Every time he would come in, I'd be like, oh my God. So that was the first thing. But then with him, I think it was more of cheapness. I didn't get that racist vibe from him. It was more like he was just clocking us because we were young and he probably thought we were inexperienced. So that's one. Now, Ralph Lauren, I told y'all, the Korean lady, she was a Korean American. Whew, that lady was crazy. Nobody could work with her. She was the worst to work with. And then I went to Cece's Pizza. So this was all when I was young. And remember, when you're young and you are black, especially a black woman, I feel like people kind of try to like make you, they have stereotypes about you, and I always felt like I proved them wrong in a way, and that's when they started to warm up to me. You get what I mean? So it was more so like, for example, when I worked at Cece's Pizza, I remember specifically that again, it was another boss and son. These were Italians though. So it was the boss and the son. The son was really nice, really cool. He didn't really care. He just made his bread and left. But the father, when he would come, he would always like say, oh, like you need to wipe the tables more, or you need to do this more, you need to do that more. And he would always talk. And for me, it was like, with me, he was a little nicer, but when he was talking to the Mexican folks, he was talking down to them a little bit. That's what I experienced on my career trip with the Karen teacher from my university. Excuse me, not teacher, but the entitled teacher's wife. Girl, you gotta give me the tea on that. Give me the tea on that. What happened? Write it in the comments. I'm gonna read it. So yeah, so because I was young, again, like I said, the owner's son was nice at the pizzeria, but it was like his father was just always micromanaging, and then he was always like, the Mexican, they worked so hard. There were some Mexican guys in the back, and they were always, they was working so hard cooking that pizza. And I felt like anyways, there was a lot of stuff going on, and I felt like he kind of talked down on us a little bit because, again, we were people of color. So the way he would order us to do stuff, it was just very off-putting. Again, I stayed there for only like a few months and then I hauled. So I left. So this was during my teenage years. So now, fast forward to when I'm 18. Trust me, this story is going somewhere, y'all. That's the reason I'm kind of explaining everything. When I was 18, I started working at McDonald's. And I'm going to read your thing after I go over my McDonald's experience. So I went to McDonald's, and this is where I started to become alert. Because, sometimes you have experiences of little racial incidents and microaggressions, and you can't quite pinpoint it. Mind you, I'm young at the time, so I didn't have anyone tell me, hey, this might happen to you. This might happen to you. I had to figure this stuff out myself. And sometimes I was like, is it me? Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I'm thinking too much. But then when I was 18 and I started working at McDonald's, I really started to see it. So there was a manager, and she was of Arab descent. And it's always POCs. That's what I've noticed too, y'all. It's always the POCs that I've had the most problems with. Quiet as it's kept. It wasn't the white folks. It wasn't the white folks, except for one job, but it wasn't the white folks. Usually it's always the POCs. And this one lady, I was a cashier at McDonald's, and she was a manager. And she used to always order me to clean. And the funny thing is, I'm a cashier, y'all. I'm a cashier. I'm not supposed to be cleaning bathrooms. I'm not supposed to be cleaning none of that stuff. I'm not supposed to be cleaning none of that. So my job as a cashier was just to mind the cash register and then also clean the area around the cash register, right? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that was the job description I was given. She had me doing janitorial duties, and it was only me. There were so many other people working there, but she only pointed and targeted me. And one time this homeless man came, and this was the time I was like, I'm quitting. Because this heifer tried me. This biatch tried me that day. So this unhoused man came, and he defecated all in the bathroom. Diarrhea everywhere. Defecated. And then she came to me. Mind you, I'm cashiering at the time. Full of people. And I'm gonna read y'all comments because I can see y'all comments popping, because I was full of people. I'm cashiering, and she's like, Romy, go to the bathroom and clean it. At first, I'm telling y'all, the Florida wanted to jump out of me that day. Whew! Mind you, I'm 18 at the time, but even then I had to hold my temperament because I was about to cuss her out real quick. I was like, who are you talking to? But I was like, you know what? Let me be humble. I'm going to go clean the bathroom. I cleaned that bathroom. And I was like, I'm never, ever, ever going to touch anything ever again in this McDonald's. I'm quitting. But at the time, I was still a student. I had just moved to Montreal. So I was like, you know what? I got to eat. I got to eat a little humble pie. And I cleaned that bathroom. It was disgusting. And then she laughed while I was doing it. She was like, oh my God, look at what he left. And she went up there to watch. Basically, she was mocking me while I was cleaning. I was like, well, I want to hit you with this broomstick so badly. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold myself. I'm going to hold my composure. And that's the thing. That's one thing I will tell y'all is I noticed that when people were the aggressors, they always expected me to react in a certain way. And when I didn't give it to them and I didn't give them that satisfaction, you could tell the mood and the attitude change because she expected me to go crazy on her. I think that's what she expected. But I didn't. I just kept my composure. I did what she asked me to do because at the time, she's still my boss. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'm going to clean. Best believe I'm quitting that job. Literally a few weeks later, I quit and I went home for the summer. I went back to Florida for the summer. And I was like, I'm never going to be talked down to like that again. And again, there's nothing wrong with cleaning. I'm not saying that I'm against cleaning. My point was, it wasn't in my job description. And two, there's so many other people there that weren't busy. But she targeted me. And I was the only black one at the time that was cashiering. So that to me was like, no, she was definitely doing it and she was proving a point. You feel me? So I was like, okay, all right, I got you. So anyways, I quit that job and then I ended up going and I worked at the Gap and Target for a summer. No bad experiences there. Actually, Target was amazing. I had such a great experience in Target, to be honest with you. I really loved that job. And the Gap was okay. I mean, only negative thing was they had us selling them damn Gap cards at the time. Because, at the time, you had to sell, like, credit cards and stuff to people. That was the most annoying part of the job. But other than that, I ain't had no problem with the Gap. All right, moving on. So I moved back. So I went home for the summer, worked 2 jobs, Gap and Target. And then I went back to Canada. And I got a job working at a bookstore. Now, this is another one. This is another incident, y'all. So I'm gonna read your stuff, little mama. Don't worry. I'm gonna read y'all comments soon. So I ended up working at Indigo Bookstore. And I really liked that job. The guy who hired me, he was so nice, super nice. And then I worked there. Now, mind you, I lived in Montreal North at the time, and this bookstore was downtown. So that was like about a 40-minute bus ride. And I was a student at the time. Now, this one, I will say that it was partly my fault, so I will absolve them of blame for this one. I was late, like they had a rule where you couldn't be late more than 3 times. But remember, I'm living all the way in Montreal North. So the time that I was working, they had hired us as seasonal workers, and I was again the only one. Only one. And when they hired us as seasonal workers, I ended up going back and forth between school and work and home where I was living. And it was really taxing. I didn't have a car, so there's that. So what ended up happening was I was late twice. And so I was on my last leg. And the day after New Year's, the day after New Year's, so January 2nd, I was supposed to work a shift and the bus never came. The bus never showed up. Bus never showed up that whole morning. And so by the time I got to the job, it was like almost, I think I was an hour late, but I told them I was late. I was like, hey, the bus isn't showing up. They were like, okay, no problem. Y'all, in the middle of a snowstorm too. It was a snowstorm too. I went there. Why they fired me as soon as I got there? As soon as I got there, I was about to log on to the machine. They were like, Romy, can we have a conversation with you in the office? And the man who hired me, he looked so sad. He was like, oh my God, I feel so bad for doing this. But the lady, she was a Caucasian lady. Oh, she looked like she was happy. And she just had a baby. And I'm like, anyway, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. I was like, that baby ain't bring you joy, ma'am? But anyway, she ended up firing me. They fired me because I was late 3 times. Okay, whatever. But while I was working there, I did end up making some good friends, some good coworkers, and I had a situation again where a customer cussed me out, and he called me stupid. But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was just anyway. I don't want to say it was a racial attack, but this man was Asian. Again, POC, POC. And all the other people that was working there, he ain't had no problem with them, but he had a problem with me for some reason. Whatever. He couldn't get his discount or whatever. He got angry and he started cussing me out. But I don't think he would have done it to the other folks. That's what I'm saying. So it's like little things like that. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. It can be taken into multiple interpretations. So we're going to move on from that. So now, next, after the bookstore, I got the job working for the government, which was a good one. So I worked at I did the federal student work experience. I worked for the border and immigration. To be honest with you, I did experience microaggressions there this one time. So what ended up happening was, again, another POC. Well, she was half POC. So she was half, I think her mom was Asian and her dad was white. And she was a little older woman. And I was a student, mind you, a student, right? So around that time, they were having students kind of doing like co-ops. So we did the federal student work experience. So we would get some experience working for for Canadian agencies as public servants. And then once you graduate, you could take a test and then you can move on and become a public servant. Now, the issue was that they were starting to shuffle people around, and some people were going to end up leaving and some people would stay. So most of the students that they had hired over the summer, they couldn't keep all of us. So some of us would stay, some of us would leave. And then they were also reshuffling some of the immigration agents too within, like, so these are full-time workers. So some of them had to move to another division and some of them could stay. And this one lady, I remember I was sitting there, and mind you, I was cool with her. Like, I ain't had no problem with her. I don't know what happened, what possessed her that day to say this to me. Because at the time, I was like, well, I don't know if I'm going to stay or not. I don't know if they're going to choose me, but if they do choose me, that'll be nice. She's like, of course they're going to choose you. You're black. I said, excuse me? She's like, well, I mean, because you're black, so of course they're going to choose you. And for me, I'm not. Mind you, I'm a student, and she's full-time. I ain't got nothing to do with her shit. Excuse my language. I ain't got nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her. Nothing to do with her and her position. She has nothing to do with mine. Because remember, I'm a student, so students, they're going to have us have a different quota, and then the full-time workers. She's like, oh, because you're black. They're going to keep you. And so I was like, okay, so not the fact that I'm qualified. Y'all heard all that work experience I done had. This was like my sixth job at that point. Y'all heard all that work experience I had. I was in school at the time. And also, like, I was I spoke French, English, I was bilingual, I was a people person, like, people really liked me over there. I had so many, like, I made so many good connections. Every time people came to the airport, they're like, oh my God, like, I'm really glad that I got you as an agent because you seem like you care, all that stuff. She was projecting her insecurities. Thank you, boom, that studio, she definitely was, because mind you, her mom had, I don't want to put this in there, but she had told me before she made that comment, of course, she way before, she had told me that she was adopted and then her dad raised her or something. So I don't know if that had to do with it, insecurities, but whatever it is, that you don't project that on me. She was like, oh, you're black, you're safe. So I took offense to that because I was like, yo, like, okay, I'm black, and so you think I'm a diversity hire? That they kept me only because I'm black, or they're gonna keep me only because I'm black, not because I'm a good person, not because I actually have a lot of work experience, not because I actually got, like, I was the one who passed with the highest marks, like, as far as, like, when we had our exams, I passed them with flying colors just like everyone else did. I deserve to be there just like everyone else. But again, I was the only black one that made the student list, right? That was part of the student cohort. So she probably felt like, oh, she only got it because she's a diversity hire. The dev studio said black women experience the pet to threat phenomenon in the workplace all the time. It's exhausting. Exactly. And because when you're the only one, people automatically assume that you're there not off of merit, but because they have to fill a quota. So I'm the quota hire. But mind you, I'm going to tell y'all how I wasn't the quota hire. By the way, in order to get into the federal student work experience, we had to take an exam. So I had to take an exam in an auditorium full of thousands of students. Once we took the test, you had to pass this test and you had to do like it was timed. So you had to memorize faces, you had to memorize I had to memorize passport numbers. Like basically what they would do is they would give you a few seconds to check people's passports number, read the material, they would close the book and you had to memorize everything. What height was that person? What country was that person from? What this, what that? If that person came to you, what would you do? So it was a lot of like logic tests. It was kind of like a logic test. I passed it and we had math on top of that. I passed that exam. Then we had to do a use of force training. So one person actually failed that test. He was the only other black person with me. So there were two of us and he failed. I passed. So basically you had to go through use of force training. You had to learn how to use a baton. You had to learn how to use pepper spray, how to drop someone. I had to drop a grown man. I had to learn how to like tackle a grown man and flip him on the floor. I had to do all that. And I had to speak French. I had to do my interview in English and in French. And for this biatch to say I'm a diversity hire was a slap in the face. But you know, it is what it is. Some people are insecure. And then on top of that, there was another guy, but he was, I will say this, he was a little slow. I think he had a little mental problem because no one could get along with him. He was just on the spectrum. But every time I would say something, he'd be like, oh yeah, girl. Oh yeah, girl. And I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like he got way too comfortable around me. You feel me? So it's like little things like that. Then I started to notice that, okay, like people didn't know how to act around me. Lil mama said, dang, don't mess with Romy. LOL. That's amazing. You have that training. Girl, I had that training. I had to pass it. And we had to get a certificate. I think I still have the certificate in my, at my brother's house in Toronto. Cause that's where we all stayed before I moved to Korea. And it was a badge of honor for me. And then on top of that, when I passed all that, for her to say that, it was disheartening. But then that's when I started to peep, okay, people are threatened. So now I ended up quitting that job. Y'all know the story. I had said it in my live a few lives back that I had issues with my family members and I decided to quit school, quit the job, and work full time. While I worked at UPS, I didn't have any issues, to be honest with you. I didn't have any issues. And I think UPS was different because everyone was more diverse and, people knew how to act. I didn't have any issues with management. Only thing is they were annoying because they would always like record phone calls. And then I remember one time the manager, the manager recorded a phone call and then he was like, Romy, you can't be talking like that to customers because I ain't gonna lie. One customer got on my damn nerves because he was angry and yelling at me. And then this was a call center. He was yelling at me. And then after he finished yelling, there was a pause. And then I said, is there anything else I can help you with? And then my boss was like, you can't be doing that. I was like, okay, that's cool. So anyways, I had a good experience at UPS. Even though I met Damien and that whole thing fell to pieces. But that was a good experience. After that, I worked at a furniture store. Now, this is where another microaggression happened. These were younger girls. All right. There was a woman, she was Chinese, a Chinese woman, and she was our manager. She's the one who hired me, but she got sick. I think she got lupus or something, and she got sick like within my first 2 weeks of working there. After I trained, she went on sick leave, and she was super sweet. She's a very nice woman. And when she went on sick leave, there was a younger girl. She was of Arab descent. That's what I'm saying. These POCs, listen, I gotta tell the truth. She was of Arab descent. She was younger than me. She would always pick on me. Every time. I wasn't the only black person working there, though. There were about 3 of us. But the other 2 girls, they were Jamaican. Or 3 girls. There were 3 girls that were Jamaican. And I was the only one who was, they were Jamaican Canadian. But then I was the only one who was older. And I was more serious. Everyone else was younger, partying. One of the Jamaican girls, she was close in age to me, but she was a little young. She was just a little younger than me, but she fit in with the other girls. I didn't. Let me tell y'all, I just was about my work. I was like, listen, I'm going to work. I'm clocking out. I ain't got time to be friends with everybody, right? I wasn't one of them lollygaggers, friends with everybody. I had real bills and real things to handle. And so she would always make these little side remarks and just like kind of try to make herself seem better than me in a way because I was older and working at the furniture store and she was younger. So I just kind of brushed everything off. I would just whatever. Listen, I needed a job at the time, so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna brush it off. But then, I remember one time at like I had interviewed at another position because I decided that I can't work there anymore. I wasn't making that much money, and it was too far again from where I lived. What is wrong with people? Child, I'm telling you, insecure people. So what happened was that I decided to look for another job, and then the I went on an interview. And then the guy called me while I was working, and I was on my phone. I was like, "Hey, I can't take this call right now." And then I was about to hang up, and then she overheard my phone call with the new job prospect. And he was like, "Hey, if you take this position," like he really wanted me. He was a really really cool guy. It was a transportation company. And he was like, "Hey, I really want you to work with us," cuz I was like, "Okay, I got to give my job 2 weeks notice." And then he was, and mind you, this was a private conversation, y'all, private conversation. She overheard me talking to him, and then she got mad at me. She was like, "Can you come into the office?" I was like, "Okay, cool." So I go into the office. Mind you, she's like at least 5 years younger than me, which is not a problem. Listen, I don't mind working with younger people. But this heifer really thought that I was going to just, I don't know what she thought. But she came and she's like, "I can't believe that you took this phone call at work. This is a professional environment. I can't believe that you did that. Like, why would you even take the phone call and that's so disrespect. Well, she said it was disrespectful what I did, and then she was like, "Yeah, well, if you want to be here, then you got to act like it. Like, I think that that was so rude that you took the phone call." And she started yelling and stuff in the office so everybody could hear. I walked out. I was so angry, and one of the girls, we gonna call her KK, the one that was closer in age to me, she came and she was like, "Yo, are you okay? Like, you good?" Because she was real cool. Me and her, we was cool, right? Because she understood. She was like, "Man, this is so petty, right?" So then she was like, "You okay?" After that heifer yelled at me, I was like, "I don't know who she thinks she's talking to." That's what I told KK. I was like, "I don't think she knows who she's talking to." I was angry. I was like, "Look, I try to be respectful." I even told her I was going to leave the job. I was going to give my 2 weeks notice. She was like, "No, it's okay. Don't worry." She's just frustrated because she feels like you were kind of like, you kind of crossed the boundaries by answering the phone call while you're at work. And I'm like, "Who cares?" At the end of the day, it was in a private office. I didn't do it in front of customers, and I was in the back. Why are you eavesdropping over what I'm doing? Why are you clocking and monitoring me? So then at the end of the day, what ended up happening was I was like, "You know what? All right, don't do this. Don't do this. Listen, this one thing about me, I have a line, and once you cross that line, I don't give a crap no more." So I literally, that was the first time I ever quit a job and I didn't go back. Like, meaning that I didn't give my 2 weeks notice. Usually I always give a 2 weeks notice. I try to be as amicable as possible. I try to be as accommodating. I left that day. I didn't even tell them that was my last day. I just never answered. I never answered my phone again. I was like, "Okay, all right, well, bye, bye, biatch. I'm not going back there." So I went home, and then I blocked the job, and they ain't never heard from me again. Except one guy, he was so sweet. He messaged me, one of my coworkers over there. He's like, "Oh my god, you're really not coming back?" I was like, "Nope." Once he heard what happened, he was like, "You know what? It's okay. You got to do what works for you." Cool. So then that experience, I was like, "You know what? Like, obviously I can't, it's like anything I do is a problem." Like somebody had wrote, I think Dev Studio wrote black, no, you wrote something else here. Hold on. You said, "I noticed that in the workplace, when you're about your business smart and don't care what others think about you are unbothered, people, especially other women, will hate on you hard." That's what it was. So I was always the one who was a little different. I always talked about, going to different places, doing different things. And I think they were young and they were talking about dumb stuff. And I maybe I'll be honest. I'll be honest. Maybe I just didn't have time to entertain the foolery. And that probably rubbed people the wrong way. But in any case, I mean, I did my best to work hard there. So I was like, "You know what? Deuces to you, bye." So I ended up working at that transportation company, and it was really nice. It was pretty cool, except again, this one was again, okay, I was the only black woman, full of an industry of men. These were all men that I worked with. There were no women there. I was the only woman there, and they did their best to accommodate me, so I'll give them that. They were really really nice. However, my team leader, the one that I was partnered with, he was crazy. He was crazy. Now, I will say this. I don't think it was a racial thing with him. And trust me, I would have told y'all if it was racial. I don't think it was racial with him. I think that he's just used to being around men, and he would talk like a man to me. He'd be like, "Why didn't you do this? Why the fuck is this happening? Blah, blah, blah." Y'all, I was like, hold up. And then one day, the boss that hired me, we're going to call him, I don't want to say his name. Dang. We going to call him Frank. Frank was like, "Yo, you got to chill. You can't be talking to her any type of way." Frank was the real one. Frank was like, "Nah, you can't be talking to her any type of way. You got to be a little more respectful. Like, sir, I understand that we're in an industry full of men and you're used to talking a certain way." Because remember, I'm doing logistics for truckers. So it was all men, very male dominated. And I had to earn my respect at that job. And I did. After that, one time I did stand up to him. I was like, "You're not going to talk to me this way. Like, if you want something done, you got to tell me, like, properly." And then he apologized to me after. He was a Quebecer guy, so a white Canadian. And after that, we was cool. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had. They treated me like family. They took me out. We used to go and have drinks and just have a good time. In Montreal, we have something called 5 à 7. So after happy hours, we used to have a lot of job happy hours. They tried their best to really accommodate me. Except for in the beginning, he tried to try me. And then after that, it didn't work. So then he chilled out. Lil Mama said, "Do you guys ever feel like when you work with men, you have to tone down your femininity? Like when I had a team of all guys, I purposely made my voice sound deeper and more monotone." For real, it's a thing because that's true. I feel like when I did work with the guys, because that was the only job I worked where it was all males. I was the only female there at the time. I think now they've diversified. They've grown a lot since then because they were a startup. And I did notice that, yeah, there were definitely times where my testosterone had to come out because I had to have a little bass in my voice because they was trying it. They was trying it. And I had to be a little more, and good thing I grew up with my brothers, so I kind of had to accommodate myself. But yeah, I had to be, I had to be a little more direct. They didn't have time for the details. They were like, "Look, what's up? Like, are we going to get this shipment or not?" Because our job was to be the third party to make shipments cheaper. So I had to make sure that packages got to where they needed to, like the pallets, the skids, everything could fit in the truck. It was crazy. And everything was so competitive. It was very hyper masculine field. And I'm happy that I left that field. It was just very stressful. Like we used to have people throw down their headphones, like, and they used to curse a lot. Like it's like living with men are different when they handle. They talk about we're emotional. Nah. After working at that job, men are more emotional. They'd be like, "What the fuck?" And then just throw their mics down and run out. Ooh, and then punch walls. "You didn't fucking do." Like, it was an insane environment. But somehow it worked for them. But then, now that I started, they were like, okay, they tried to tone it down a little bit. But then I noticed that I had started like being a little more aggressive while I was working there. I had to be because I was competing with guys, right? And I was the only girl there. But all in all, it worked out great. I still follow a lot of them on Facebook. They are doing great in life. And that was that job. Okay, now let's get to corporate. So from there, so all the work experience I gave you was retail, transportation. All right, so I had all that experience, and then there was a government experience I had. Now let's get to Canadian corporate. I decided to leave Montreal after that job, the male-centered job. Men are emotional with less drama. Sis, they got more drama. I hate to tell you this. They actually have more drama. Women are drama and emotion. Men are drama too, but this is the thing. Men just handle, like you said, okay, maybe less drama. You're right. They do have less drama. They just know how to handle it a little better than us, I will say. But they got drama too. The way they be talking about each other, it just be so crazy. But yeah, so now I moved on to corporate. And I got my first job working at an insurance company. Now, this one was interesting. I'm going to tell y'all what happened. This is when I learned never to mule for people. Black women, listen up. Listen up. Do not mule for people. This was the job where I learned my advocacy is done. It's null and void. I will no longer advocate for coworkers any longer. And I'm going to tell y'all what happened. So I started this job. I got the job from Montreal. So mind you, I was in Montreal at the time. I traveled to Toronto to do interviews, and then I got the job. It was working as I was a customer service representative in insurance. I was the only, again, black woman there. I think there was one more black woman there, but she was on another floor. So I was the only black woman on my team. And, that's when I really started to really see the disparity. I only mule for me. Amen, Deb Studio. And Little Mama, by the way, I'm going to read your experience in Korea because I really want to read it. I am going to read it. But I just don't want to lose my train of thought. So that's why I'm waiting till the end to read it. So, y'all, I was muling. Let me tell y'all what happened. So I went and I worked at this job. I only lasted at that job for 6 months. So I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. There was I'm gonna give the racial backgrounds and then I'm gonna give nicknames. So there were two Guyanese men. So one is named Jared. We gonna call him, well, actually, no, that's not his real name, but there was somebody named Jared. So I'm okay. Let's change the name. One is named Jeff. Okay, one is named Jeff. Sorry, we're giving pseudo names. It's not really their name. One is named Jeff. One is named Colin. I gotta remember these names, Jeff and Colin. Okay, Jeff Colin. And then there was a Hispanic guy. I forgot. I think he's Guatemalan. And we're gonna call him I don't wanna we're gonna call him Peter. Damn, I gotta remember these names, y'all. Hold on, these pseudo names. I said John, Colin, Peter. Whew. And then there was a white Canadian girl. We gonna call her give me a name, y'all. I'm not good with making up names. We gonna call her Jiffy Lube. I don't know, Jiffy. And then actually there was another Guyanese girl, but she was cool. Me and her were really cool friends. Rachel was so sweet. I love Rachel. Me and Rachel was cool. And then there was a Chinese Canadian guy. We gonna call him Alfred. Okay, Alfred was mad cool. I had no problem with Alfred. I actually had no problem with anybody, to be quite honest with you. So this is what I'm talking about. Don't be muling for other people's issues. When you see injustice in the workplace, you're going to let them work it out themselves. I'm sorry to tell y'all. I learned that lesson myself. Let me tell y'all what happened. So I was working there. Everything was great until one day. Okay. I'll just put it this way. There was the Guatemalan guy. What did I call him again? Jeff and Jiffy Lube. So mind you, the Guatemalan guy was a team leader. Jeff and Jiffy Lube were having a relationship. Conflict of interest. Okay? Conflict of interest. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our supervisor, she's also Guyanese, but she was white passing. So we gonna call her Rachel. Okay, no, I call somebody else Rachel. We gonna call her Ruthie. No, damn. Okay, we gonna call her. Yo, I'm not good with pseudo names. Hold on, we gonna call her we gonna call her Rihanna. Oh my God, Rihanna. Y'all, I'm giving names. I'm sorry. Okay, so Jeff and Jiffy Lube were having a relationship. Team leader and his subordinate. That was a conflict of interest. LOL, just call them by their nationality. I think I'm gonna do that because this is getting confusing, little mama, and I'm giving real names. I was starting to slip. So, okay, Jeff and Jiffy Lube. We're gonna call the Canadian and the Guatemalan guy. Jeff and Jiffy Lube, they were having a relationship, and we noticed that he would give her less work than everybody else. And we also noticed that he was basically like giving her unfair advantages. So she would give all of the dirty work, I guess, all of the hard work to all of us, and it would be distributed to us. But she was just coasting. Obviously, she was sucking his dick. So come on, let's be real. I'm being honest, y'all. I'm sorry. I hope I don't have children on this live, and I shouldn't have kids on this live, anyways. She was, sucking him up and whatever, sucking his peen, having whatever relations with him. So, of course, she got special privileges. All right, cool. So then one of the Guyanese guys had a problem with that. And he was a busybody, y'all. He was a busybody. He was very busybody. He worked in the records management portion, so his job was scanning and making sure, he was the clerk, so making sure all of the office supplies were ordered. Him and Rachel would do that. And I was the customer service rep, so I would get all of the phone calls and stuff from insurers and kind of handle their issues and whatnot. So now, the Guyanese kid, we gonna call him, I said Colin. So Colin started getting upset. about that. Rightfully so, because she's starting to get special treatment, and we felt like it's not fair. We were dealt with a lot more work. We had a higher volume of work, and she was just coasting by. And we noticed that they would like smile at each other in meetings, play footsie and stuff. Like, y'all, it was just ridiculous. It was just, you could tell they was together. And he was always like, the Guatemalan guy, he was always like cornered over her, and they was doing some really inappropriate stuff at work. It was very inappropriate. So Colin had an issue with that. And so he found out that, I'm trying to remember the situation, but in any case, I think he found out that he was I think they were gonna let him go or something like that, or that there was a situation that had happened between him and Jiffy Lube. That's all I remember. Him and Jiffy Lube had a situation, and he went and spoke to HR. So when he spoke to HR, they were like, okay, look, we can't do anything for you right now. You have to talk to your supervisor and figure out like how to move on from this. So bet. So he came to me. I remember he came to me. He's like, hey, I got to talk to HR about this. It's not fair. I feel like, there was a situation that had happened between him and Jiffy Lube. Y'all, it was so long ago, I can't remember. But there was a situation between him and Jiffy Lube that happened. And he felt like, okay, this is it. This is the final straw. So now he went to the big boss. We gonna call him Biggie. Y'all, he was big. He was big man. He went to Biggie because Biggie. So the problem was that our supervisor, I think I had called her what did I call her? The big supervisor, the Guyanese lady. She started with an R. Damn, there were two R's. But anyways, the white passing one. We gonna call her white passing. Rachel Dolezal. We gonna call her Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal, she ended up she was kind of like she was never there. Let's just put it that way. She was the boss, but she's not really our boss. She was one of those bosses where it's like by name only. She was only there for the meeting and the optics. We ain't never seen her. She just came and left. She was like a wind. She came and she left. And so Colin, he was like, well, I can't tell Rachel Dolezal because she's not going to do nothing about it. So then he ended up going to Biggie. And he said, hey, Biggie, because Biggie is her boss. He's Rachel Dolezal's boss. He was like, hey, Biggie, there's been a lot of conflict of interest. I feel like, this workplace is kind of going down. I don't think that, this is proper, this relationship that they're having, and it's inappropriate, and it's starting to affect me. That's what he told Biggie. And he told them about the situation between him and Jiffy Lube. And I think he felt like his job was threatened. So he had to go and kind of defend himself. No problem, right? So when he was defending himself to Biggie, mind you, Biggie's supposed to be the top boss. And Biggie's supposed to be like, okay, we going to handle this. So that's what he told Colin. He was like, okay, you know what? We're going to handle this. I'm going to make sure I don't tell, I'm not going to tell Rachel Dolezal what you just told me, because mind you, I'm telling you, that's our direct supervisor. So he went a little bit above her head. So he was like, I'm not going to tell Rachel Dolezal. I'll try to figure this out and see what's going on. Y'all, he told Rachel Dolezal. Biggie was two-faced. So he told Colin one thing, and then he went back and told Rachel Dolezal the other thing. So now Rachel Dolezal found out. And then she had a meeting with Colin, and she was like, how could you? I heard that you're having issues. Yo, snitch, right? She's like, I heard you're having issues with the team. You didn't have to go behind my back and say this. And I think that was not right, that you went to Biggie instead of me. I'm your supervisor. Why didn't you come to me with it? And she just started like going off on him. So then he came back angry that day. He came to me. And then he was like, oh my God, Romy, like, cause he used to sit right behind me. He was like, oh my God, Romy, like, honestly, like, this is a mess. Like, now my job is on the line because I decided to voice my opinion and I said something. And then now they're blaming me. And she's like, acting like I'm the person who's the villain because I'm the one who's voiced out my opinion. And so it started this whole beef between the three of them. So Biggie, Rachel Dolezal was jumping on Colin. So now Colin was scared because he about to lose his job, y'all. He's scared that now they on his tail because now he voiced out his opinion. She knows now that he's like spreading rumors or saying that Jiffy Lube and this guy are together. And, Rachel Dolezal was really bad and she really liked Jiffy Lube and the Guatemalan guy. So she was cool with them. So they was all like, I guess in this little... they're all like, friends or whatever. So then she's sticking up for her friend. She's like, well, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have gone to Biggie. because now I'm gonna make your life a living hell. So then now Colin's scared. So he comes and tells me all three of them should be fired. Girl. So now he comes to me. This is the issue. This is why I said don't mule. He comes to me, and of course I'm like, this is so wrong. I'm like, this is wrong, y'all. This is wrong. I was like, y'all can't be doing this. My dumb ass. This is what I did. So I had a meeting with Ruth. Oh my God, that was her name. Sorry. I had a meeting with y'all. I hope I don't get. I hope I don't get defamation laws on me. Okay. Y'all, I almost slipped her name. Okay, I had a meeting with Rachel Dawson. Yeah, I can't keep up. I had a meeting with Rachel Dawson, and then I was like, well, she was like, Romy, like, what's going on? Like, I heard that, Colin saying that Jiffy Lube and Guatemalan guy are having a relationship and that it's affecting the work environment. It's like we live in America. We don't know these people. I know, but you never know who might see the live. So anyway, she was like, yeah, I heard that, there's a conflict of interest, a situation. And then she asked me my opinion, and I said, well, I think it's wrong. I think it's wrong what's happening. And I told her what I felt. And then she was like, well, thank you for telling me this. And then she was like, well, I don't think there's anything wrong with the relationship. I think that they've done what they could to make sure that they kept this work environment professional. Basically, she doubled down and was like, look, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about, but this ain't going to happen. So then now I'm looking like the bad guy too because I'm defending Colin, and then I'm like, yo, like this is not right. So then now her target's on me too. So now we both are targeted. And so the other Guyanese guy, he starts standing up for us too, and then it's like three of us against them all three. And so I decided that, the work environment became so uncomfortable, y'all. It became so uncomfortable because now Jiffy Lube, mind y'all, she a pale girl, pale. So now she starts crying and she starts acting like, oh my God, like you guys are being so mean to me. Like, oh, like, I've done nothing wrong to you guys, and victimizing herself. And y'all, it became a mess. It was like he said, she said, high school drama. And I'm like, y'all, I'm just here to make a bag, man. Like, I ain't got, mind you, I was there about 5 months at the time. I was like, this is too much. So then she starts acting funny and she starts like not wanting to talk to me, but then talk to me. And then, it's just, and then calling every minute, coming to me like, oh my God, did you see what she did? Did you see what she just did? Like, she's not being professional about this whole situation. Crocodile tears. Girl, crocodile. So then I was like, you know what? I've had enough. So I started looking for another job at the time. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to quit. So I ended up quitting. I gave my 2 weeks notice. So then this is where I went wrong. And this is where I wish I could go back and apologize. But I went on a rampage, y'all. So what happened is I had an HR exit interview. And they're like, Romy, why are you leaving? Y'all, I said everything. I was like, I was trying to defend Colin because I was like, you know what? This is wrong. Like, these people are high schoolers. I feel like there's so much that's going on beneath, like, behind the scenes that's unprofessional. I can't work in this kind of work environment. I'm leaving because I feel like it's unjust that Biggie went and told Rachel Dawson what was said in confidence by Colin, one of his workers and employees, and he's not supposed to be doing that. I feel like this is a gossipy place. Girl, I went in. And so they found out. But they still try to be fake nice to me. So this is where the issue happened. My last day, they try to have a cake for me. Now they see that I'm mad because I was starting to get angry. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I just started coming into work. I didn't even say hi to nobody, not say hi, bye. People would say hi to me. Now, this is where I went wrong. I didn't say hi to nobody. I couldn't deal with the fake stuff. So I was like, I ain't saying hi to nobody. I ain't say bye to nobody. I just walked in, did my work. People would say hi, try to talk to me. I was like, tunnel vision. I was like, I'm not talking to none of y'all hoes. So then, because of what y'all did to Colin, because Colin was my boy at the time, right? So then, once they had the going away, they were like, oh, Romy, we have a cake for you. We know it's your last day. We want to celebrate with you. I said, nope. I said, I'm not celebrating. I said, you know what you did, you know what's wrong, you know what's right, and I don't agree, and I don't want to be fake with you guys, so I don't want that cake. Y'all should have seen the look on Jiffy Lube's face. Jiffy Lube was about to cry, y'all. She literally had tears. She was like, I thought we were good. I thought we were on good terms. I was like, look, like, because remember, I'm muling for Colin. This had nothing to do with me. Why did I insert myself? Why did I insert myself? You see, this is where I went wrong. That's what I'm telling y'all. I went wrong because I inserted myself and I put my nose in business that I had no business being in. No business. Because now Jiffy Lube, she crying. And then she's upset because I don't want to eat her damn cake or the cake they got for me. And then the Guatemalan guy looking at me with his glasses and he's like, damn, shit, she mad for real. He looking like so uncomfortable. And so I started working whatever. And then I didn't eat the cake and I left that place. So now this is not the kicker. What happened was that I was scheduled to finish at 6 o'clock that night. And then one coworker came to me. He's like, why are you here still, man? Girl, go. Just leave. Don't stay for these folks. They talking mad crap behind y'all backs. They doing all this stuff. And I said, you know what? He was another brother. He was kind of he had he was kind of like the mixed people. So then I said, you know what? You're right, sir. So after Jiffy Lube and that whole cake situation, I didn't take the cake. And then I left that job. But I was supposed to finish at 6. I left that job at 4 o'clock. So they have phone calls, y'all, from clients. And I didn't pick up. I wasn't there. I just left. I hauled ass. And that was the end of my journey at that insurance company. Now, in hindsight, this is what I'm saying. Don't mule yourself because it had nothing to do with me. I honestly should have stayed at that job. I didn't have any issues at that job. But because I was sitting here muling for Colin and trying to be an ally, this is what happened to me. So I ended up leaving because I got uncomfortable. He didn't leave. Mind y'all, he was still there. He was still there. I met up with him when I think a few years had passed. And then he had, because we used to be Facebook friends. And then one day I saw him downtown and we had met up. Like I just saw him and then we just met up and he was still working there, y'all. So he ended up keeping his position. He ended up, I guess when I left, they probably shifted the blame on me. Probably said, oh, Romy's the one who, whatever. He ended up staying there. And he still worked there. He probably is still there till this very day. After causing all that chaos. And I was muling for him and I was the one who ended up leaving. Because it got too uncomfortable. The heat got on me. Because I took it off of him. Because I was the one who went to HR and told them all that stuff about what was going on. See? Don't mule for people. It's insane, little mama, but that was my lesson. I ain't never mule for nobody after that because I was like, man, like that's how it worked out. I was the one who ended up leaving. Everybody else ended up staying. And the other guy and his girl left too. She ended up going somewhere else. But the one who caused all the issues, the one that caused all the problems, the one that caused all the beef, me sitting here defending him and going to bat for him. I was the only one who went to bat for him for real. And I was the one who ended up leaving. Because it got too uncomfortable for me. But then he became comfortable enough. You see, he did. He caused all that chaos and still ended up staying there. So that's what one lesson I would say is don't mule for people. All right, I'm going to continue a little bit more. So now, next job. I got too many jobs, so I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip to the next job. The next experience. After that insurance company, I moved to, I worked at an MLM. I'll talk about that in another video. I ended up getting sucked into an MLM, multi-level marketing company. That was another one. I'll talk about that in another video. So I spent some time there, and then I ended up working at another insurance company, but this time it was medical insurance. I ain't had no problem with this company. I had no issues. Now, I did have a coworker. He's a friend of mine now. I'm going to call him Isaac. Isaac always had issues. But one thing I will say is that it's so crazy because during that time, I met some really good friends that I'm still friends with till this day. And I think it's because I had learned my lesson from the last job, and I was like, I am not inserting myself in people's drama no more. So Isaac had a lot of issues with people, but I didn't insert it. Once he told me, I was like, oh well, gave him advice and kept it pushing. I did not insert myself again. I learned my lesson. So I ended up working there for 2 years. I had a really good manager. She was amazing. She was a person of color. She was Sri Lankan, but she was awesome. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to say all of my experience has been bad with people of color. It was just certain particular people. But that woman, she was amazing. I love her down. Like, she was one of my best bosses till this day. I have high regards for her. And when her mom was passing away, like, her mom was sick and her mom had a lung issue, and my mom actually took care of her mom in her last days, and we have that kind of connection with each other still. So yeah, my mom took care of her mom in her last days, and she said that was her mom's highlight, was that my mom took care of her and kind of gave her like peace before she passed away. So that was really good. That's how close we were. So I had nothing but good things to say about this insurance company. So moving on to the next one. Now, this is where the kicker happened. And then I'm gonna read your comment, little mama. So now, this is where the kicker happened. This is another insurance company. This one was downtown. It's a commercial insurance company. And so this is where the microaggressions and racism really reared its head. And after that experience, that's what changed the rest of my life's direction. And this is where I ended up going to Korea. This is what ended up making me go to Korea. So I ended up working for this insurance company. That's the one I told y'all I lied and I said I had a bachelor's degree when I really didn't. I had like 2 years work experience, but we ain't gonna talk about that. So I worked there, and there was another black girl there. So there were two of us that that spoke French. So one black girl, we gonna call her Danielle, and me. We were the French speakers. And then there was a white woman who was our team leader. We're gonna call her Janet. And then, oh wait, what was the other girl's name again? What did I say her name was? Anyways, whatever. Janet. Janet was the team leader. And then there was an Indian woman. We gonna call her Mia. I don't remember her name, y'all. It started with an S, but I don't remember her name anyways. And then there was a white girl. I forgot her name, but she was kind of like mixed. Not mixed. She was off-white. We can call her off-white because she ain't full white. She like off-white. She like Greek or something like that. And then it was all women. And then, well, all women in my department, my area, but it was full of men and women in other areas. And then there was, there was a busybody lady, the executive assistant. We just gonna call her executive assistant. So these were all the main characters and myself. So I started this job because they needed someone to speak French and they wanted to connect with our Montreal office because we were located in Toronto. And then being that I lived in Montreal for so long and I spoke French, I speak conversational French more than written and, my grammar is, at the time my grammar was okay, was good, but I was really good at conversational French. And then the other black girl, she was good at the written French because she was she went through French immersion in school. So she knew how to write in French. I just knew how to speak in French. So we kind of complemented each other. And she was amazing. I loved her. She was very quiet, one of those really shy black girls, very slow, y'all, though. She was very slow. Her work took forever. She the type of person, like, she literally was like this. Like, okay, for example, I'm like this. She's like this. Even how she talked was mad slow, but she was very nice. I had such a great experience working with her. She was amazing. So she was really cool. And so I think they had me help her because she was too slow. And so they needed someone who had like that kind of like experience working in Montreal because remember, she's not from Montreal. She's from Toronto. So I had that connection. So then I got hired there, and it's a lucrative insurance company. It's one of the biggest ones for commercial insurance. And I started off as a customer service, a bilingual customer service rep. So I did well at my job. Now I noticed that the white team leader, Janet, she was okay, but she was I had no issues with her. I'll say that. She was very cool, but she was just annoying. I don't know how to explain it. She was annoying. Every little thing. It's like, Romy, did you do this? Okay. She was one of those people. Are you okay, Romy? Okay. like every 5 minutes. And I'm like, dang girl, give me a chance to breathe. She was one of those people. So, but she was really nice. But the Indian lady, that's why I said POC. I ain't like her. We ain't really F with each other like that. Because again, she was also a team leader, but I noticed that when she talked to me, it was like, I'm telling you, I can't, there's some people I just can't work with. She really took her job very seriously. I'll just leave it at that. She took her job very seriously. And I'm not talking about very seriously as in we all took our job seriously. But she took her job seriously in the sense that like she really took the job too seriously in the sense that like she was starting to overstep her boundaries as my boss. So then for example, making me stay overtime when I didn't want to stay overtime, making me do things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. Catch my drift? Trying to overstep her boundaries. Technically, she wasn't even my boss. It was Janet that was my boss. But Janet was a little weak. So she let that girl kind of overpower her. And the way she would be talking to me was she was talking to me kind of sideways. So I'd be like, yo, this girl, she's one minute away from a cuss out. But we gonna leave it at that. So anyways, we had that dynamic. So me and the other black girl, we ended up going to Montreal for a work trip and we met the Quebec team. And they were super nice. Like they were amazing. They were nice, very accommodating, very cool women. They were straight to the point. They're like, look, we ain't got no problems with y'all. Y'all ain't got no problems with us, but we just want to make sure that you guys understand how our work is and what's going on in Montreal. And as long as you guys can go back to Toronto and get that handled, we're good. So that was fine. Now, one day, remember, executive assistant, this is where she comes into this. She was my friend. So as soon as I started working, I think she's Malaysian. Yeah, she was Malaysian. She was an older woman. As soon as I started working, y'all, she stuck to me like glue. She was like, oh my God, I'll give you the tea on what's going on in this company. Like, she was a busybody, y'all. Busybody. Like, she gave me the tea on everybody. And again, me and the other black girl that I worked with, Daniela, is that the name I gave her? Whatever name I gave her. We were the only two black women in the whole division. And there was another black guy. He was from St. Lucia. He was real cool. That was it. Only three of us. That was it. We was the only three carrying for the melanated people. So, the executive assistant, she gave me the tea of the job. So me and her, we would have lunch all the time. She was very nice, and she would give me cookies and give me stuff, and she was just very nice, and she would just give me all the tea. And so one day, this is where I started to really notice that things were a little off at that job. There was this Asian woman. She was Chinese and Chinese American, but I think she's from Hong Kong. Sorry, she's not Chinese. She was from Hong Kong. Sorry, I don't want to say that. So she's from Hong Kong. And I'm giving her racial makeup for a reason, y'all. This is the reason I'm giving the racial makeup. She was very nice, very extremely nice. She was there for years. I think she was there for almost like 30 something years. And one day, she was out of there. I was at the desk, y'all. I was sitting at my desk and I saw them. All I saw was her go into someone's office. She came back to her office and then they escorted her out. Y'all, she ain't even had time to pack her bags. She ain't even had time to do nothing. They just escorted her out. So come to find out, remember, the executive admin assistant, she knew everything. She knew all the tea of the job. Yeah, oh my God, y'all, it was so jarring because it was like right around lunchtime. So all of a sudden, we just see everyone seeing her leave. And they escorted her out. So I'm thinking she did something bad. I'm like, dang, what this lady did? Come to find out, the executive admin assistant, because remember, she's the executive admin assistant for one of the top directors, and she knew what happened. She told me what it was that she was nearing retirement, and they kind of forced her out. She didn't want to leave, but they forced her out, and they said she couldn't say bye to nobody. So I didn't even get to say bye to her. And I was like, I wanted to say bye to her, but you could tell that the moment was really tense. So I didn't say anything. I just saw her walk by. It was like around, I promise I'll never forget. It was right before lunchtime. And she just walked by like this with the security guards. And apparently it was because they was forcing her out. They forced her out of her position. So then once I saw that, I was like, I knew that something was off. But then at the time, I was a little more serious about my career because I was around 24, 20, hold on, no. I was about 20, 27, around 27, 28. That ain't right. Girl, it was not right at all. They didn't let her say bye to nobody. No one. And she just left just like that. So around that time, I was like 26, 27, 26 turning 27. So I started to take my career very seriously. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I really wanted to do well at this job because I wanted to be stable at one job at least for a few years so I could get that experience, right? Because I kept pivoting so hard. So then now, when I ended up going, when I saw that, it was a red flag, but then I was like, you know what? I'm still going to try to make it work, right? So that was that. So now this is what happened that really took me to my sick leave. And this is the reason why I ended up going to Korea. So the executive admin assistant. So I'm doing my job. Mind you, I'm doing my job. I ended up going to Quebec, had a really good time with the Montreal team. I was doing my job the best. Like, people were like, Janet had no complaints about me. Janet always said, she was like, oh my God, you're doing such a great job. I'm so happy you joined the team. Janet was very sweet. She was just annoying, but she was sweet. So now, come to find out, one time the EAA came to me during lunchtime and she was like, hey, Romy, I really need to talk to you. And I was like, what's going on? And she was like, remember, her boss, we gonna call him his name. We gonna call him, y'all know I'm not good with names. We just gonna call him Villain. Okay, the Villain. Her boss is Villain. So Villain came to her, or she overheard Villain talking to other people. Because remember, she's the EAA. And she said that they're going to push me out my job. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, look, don't tell anyone I told you this, but I just want to give you a heads up that they're going to push you out your job because they're saying that you're not doing your job well, that you're making too many mistakes, and that they don't want you there anymore in that position. And I was like, that's not true. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm doing really great at my job. Like, literally, Janet, we did a performance review and she said I did a great job. She's like, yeah, but that's what they're saying. And she was like, look, like, I'm just letting you know because that's what's gonna happen. They're trying to take you out of your position. But she was like, I know you're doing a good job, and that's why they're trying to find reasons to get rid of you. So then when I tell you, I was upset because I was like, okay, so I don't get it. Like, why are they making up these things about me? And they're saying that I'm not doing a great job and that my French is not up to par, like, like how the Quebec team wants it, allegedly. And I'm gonna tell y'all what really happened. And they're saying that I'm not doing great and that that they're going to remove me from my position. But then Janet is telling me something else. So then I started feeling really bad. I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I cried a little bit. I was like, yo, what's going on? Like, I really wanted to stay at that job. So then, come to find out, EAA told me what tea really was. So then she was like, so she came back to me, like, we had lunch again. And then she was like, look, I got an update about what's going on. So Villain had a relative that he wanted to get my job. Because remember, there's 2 French jobs. The other girl, she was there before me. So they couldn't remove her. But I was the newer one. So they could remove me. I wasn't there. I was under, at that time, my probation was just about to be over. So then what he ended up doing was that he wanted his cousin to take my position, but she couldn't just take my position because that would be nepotism. So then what he ended up doing was he was finding faults in my work, or alleged faults in my work, so that way she could take my position and that they could usher me up out of there. So then I found out from the EAA that what was going on. So she, like, thank God for her. Like, honestly, because I was going to be blindsided, but thank God, and this was the Malaysian girl, Malaysian woman, she had the heart to tell me what was really going on. So then I started to plan accordingly. So I started to get really stressed at the time because I was like, okay, look, if they let me go, mind you, I didn't have anything to fall back on. I didn't have a job, but at least she told me so I could prepare myself, right? So I just started getting myself ready. I started recording everything. I started recording all the work that I did. I started to just make sure that my work was up to par. And then they tried to do that with someone at my other girl. They be doing that. And then What I did was I ended up speaking to one of the Montreal ladies. I was like, I had a candid conversation. I was like, hey, her name was, I don't want to say her name. Her name was S. And I was like, hey, S, can I talk to you for a little bit? And then she was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, do you have a problem with me or anything that I've done? Do you like, is there anything that I need to improve on? She's like, no, you're amazing. Montreal team had no problem with me. She's like, matter of fact, we really love the fact that you're part of the team now. I feel like, you understand us a little bit more because you lived in Montreal. And I said, do you think my French is an issue? She was like, not at all. She was like, I feel like you're just, of course, we know that you're not a native, like you're not like French, obviously. But, she was like, man, you're good. Like nothing. She was like, girl, I don't know what they talking about because you good. Girl, so how about one day, Janet pulls me into the office. And then she's like, hey, Romy, I need to talk to you. And I was like, all right, cool. So then come to find out, she's like, Romy, I hate to tell you this, so I don't know how to tell you this, but we're going to have to move your position. So then instead of them firing me or letting me go, I guess Janet went to bat for me and they ended up keeping me. But then she was like, we're going to switch you to the underwriting team instead. So your position we're going to have someone else do your position. And she was like, she wrapped it up like it was such a great thing. Like, we decided to promote you to another position. I think this would be really good for you because it's a better fit for your experience. And I think you do really well there. You're going to work with this other team. I really like the other team too. They were cool. And then I was like, okay. And so like they were like, all right, cool, you're gonna move positions. But listen, y'all, remember, they said that I'm not doing well and that my work is not that great and that I am making mistakes and all this stuff, right? Mind you, they said that, right? Isn't that the excuse that the villain said? How about they said that Charity, we're gonna call her Charity. Charity is starting and we want you to train her. I had to train my op. I had to train. So my work was not good enough to stay in the position, but then I'm going to be training her. And I'm also training the other girl, remember the off-white girl, because the off-white girl had just started at that time. So I'm training both of them. One, I'm training her in my old position, and the other one I'm training because she's new. So then I was like, okay, so EAA, like when she told me that they were trying to get me up out of there, it was because they wanted to replace me, or he wanted his relative to replace me. So I said, all right, bet. No problem. Cool. So I did what I was told, y'all. I was a good little Negro. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the best training that I've ever done. Because I could have sabotaged y'all. When you have the devil and the angel on your shoulder, I'd rather leave than train my op. Ain't no way. Child. Oh, that's my sister, y'all. Hi, sis. My real sister. No, you remember that time. So I ended up, my sister could let y'all know what happened at that time. She was there. Hey, my sister was there. I'm glad she's here. She could confirm my story. So I had to train both of them. And what ended up happening was that Romy's sister, well, y'all know her name, Marsha. She was on the trip in Jamaica. So yeah, so I ended up training both of them. Yep, it really did happen. Yeah, she remembers. I had a meltdown, and I was really I was so stressed at the time. So because it was like I was getting mistreated, and I knew it was a racial. It was definitely racial because, even though there was another black girl that worked with me, I felt like for me, I don't know what it was, but, God made it happen that way because if it didn't happen that way, I wouldn't have gone to Korea. I wouldn't have went to Korea. For some reason, they were on my tail and I couldn't pinpoint it, but I was like, you know what? Maybe God made it happen that way. In hindsight, now I could see why, because it was meant for me to leave and I wasn't going to leave. Remember, I was starting to get comfortable. I wanted to be stable a little bit, at least for a few years before moving on, right? Because I was like, look, I'm tired of job hopping. I want to stay stable. So I ended up training this girl, this lady. This lady was older and I can't fault her because Charity, it's not her fault. She was just given this position and she was very nice. So you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm going to do what I got to do. So I trained her. I gave her the best training ever because I knew I was going to leave at that time. So I trained her with the best training I could. I taught her everything. And I even was like, and she even told Janet, she was like, oh my God, Romy's so nice, so sweet. So I guess she went back to villain because I was like, look, villain, you probably expected me to be combative and to be that, you know, the stereotypical black woman. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna show them that I can be graceful, and I'm going to take that as a teachable moment, and I'm going to do my best to train her. Hey, Romy subscribers. Yo, you know what, you sound like mom, because mom did the same thing the other day. Mom popped up in my live. My mom popped up in my live, and she was saying hi to everybody and God bless you. But anywho, so I decided at that time to be the best trainer that I could be. So I took that as, no way, yeah, you and your mama, y'all like this now. You are your mama's twin. But yeah, so I decided at the time to give her my best training, and I did that, and I was so grateful for that experience because it really humbled me. Even though Off-White did try me one time because she got an attitude with me, she had a little attitude problem, and I had to put her in her place. I actually ended up crying. I was so frustrated. She's like, "Oh my God, Rumi, I'm so sorry. I yelled at you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to do the white girl tears. I'm sorry. I did the white girl tears." I was frustrated at the time. I was going through so much stress. And so I ended up training Charity. Guess what happened, y'all? I'm going to cut the long story short. I trained her. And then after that, I got really sick. I got super sick. One day I ate some food, and then like I started having anxiety attacks. My heart kept palpitating really badly to the part I thought I had a heart attack. So I ended up going to the ER with my sister, the one that's in the chat. We went to the ER together. And I think I could say that it was because of the work stress. It was just too much going on. And then, you know, the incidents and how they were trying to kick me out and saying that I'm not a good employee when I knew I was. I was working so hard at that job. But I was telling you, I put my blood, sweat, and tears in that job just to make it work. And it was like they didn't appreciate it. So then what ended up happening was I got sick and I went on sick leave. And I'm gonna read y'all the email. I'm gonna let y'all see the email. Actually, I gotta do some name blocking. Hold on. I'm gonna read the email. I'll read it because I don't wanna expose people's names and stuff. So, mind you, Charity, she started messing up because I had moved to the new position about a few weeks before I got really sick. And they literally had me come back. They kept having me come back to fix her mistakes. Because Janet was like, "Hey, Romy, I really need you to come back and help because, you know, the other girl, remember the other black girl, I told y'all she was a little slow, like at her job. She was very slow, like, and not that it's negative, but she was just not as quick. So then she kept calling me back to go and train her some more. And so I got sick. So remember, I was the crutch. So everything that was going on, like even though she didn't have good training, she had good training, but even though she was doing her job, I was still there kind of helping out in the background. But then once I left and went on sick leave, house of cards crumbled, y'all. Homegirl couldn't do her job, and they let her go within a few months. Because you know who told me? EAA told me, because me and her were Facebook friends. And she messaged me. She's like, "Girl, she ended up leaving. They let her go because she was messing up too much. The Montreal team was complaining about her. They said that she was doing all the calculations wrong. Mind you, I gave her the best training, so it wasn't my training. Couldn't nobody said I sabotaged her. I gave her the best training, but she just couldn't keep up with the job because again, she was placed in that position. She didn't earn it. It wasn't merited. So then what ended up happening was that I left. I went on sick leave. She got canned a few months later. And then that was that. That was the end of that. But I'm gonna read to y'all the email that I have in 2015 that I sent my resignation email on May 28, 2015. I said, "Hi, Janet." Hold on. I'm gonna let y'all read it because hold on a second. Let me make it, you know, I'm messy. So I'm gonna hide the identity markers because again, I don't want her name to be out there. But I'm gonna let y'all see the email, the date. Hold on. I'm gonna let y'all see this messiness. Hold on a second. Hold on. Because this is the proof in the pudding. Oh, sorry. Hold on, let me make sure my mic doesn't do that. May 28, 2015 at 5:21. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip it because I don't want y'all to see her name. So there's some some names there here. So I said, "Hi, Janet." Let me flip it over again so now you can see. "Due to unforeseen circumstances, I am resigning from my position as an underwriting support representative." Let me flip it over again because from blah, 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 effective immediately. These last couple of weeks, okay, let me sorry. These last couple of weeks have been the most challenging for me health wise. My condition is at its worst and it will affect my performance until I have surgery. Y'all, I don't care if I put the company name, whatever, it's there. Which will take place in a few months. The best decision for me is to take care of my health as a priority. Thank you for the opportunity, training, and knowledge that I have received received from you. Child, I did a typo. From you and the team. It was a rough journey at times, but I have learned more than I could have ever imagined. I will truly miss everyone. Y'all know that was a lot. I didn't miss nobody. But anyways, that was it, y'all. That was the last corporate job I worked until I left for Korea. Because I went back to school right after that. And the rest is history. Y'all already know that I ended up going to Korea. And I have more work stories, but again, I don't want to bombard everybody because it's I've been on here for 105 minutes. That's a long time. So I have a lot more work stories, but that was it. That was my experience working in corporate. Now, what I will say is this, because I'm going to give a little tidbit. I know this was a longer video than usual, only because I wanted to give an extensive work experience. The tea was hot and y'all, the tea was hot. I gave y'all a lot of tea, and that's not even the half of it. But the rest of it, I ended up working. All the other workplaces were fine. Teaching in Korea, y'all saw, if y'all go back in my video history, I have a video about how they didn't pay me and stuff. But that was, that's just Korean workplace. That's another tea. I'll probably talk about experiences working in Korea, especially the last job I had before I moved back to Canada. But all in all, I will say this. I'll wrap up my experiences, and I'm going to read your experience, little mama, and then I'm going to head out after that. I don't know why this ain't working. Hold on. What am I? Okay, there we go. What I want to say is this, though. Like, my highs and lows. So the highs of me working as in corporate, or the highs of my whole career, again, after that job, I ended up going back to school, got my bachelor's, master's, and then I worked and taught in Korea for another few years, and then I moved back, and now I am a public servant. So, mind you, all those years now, I'm finally stable. I have a pretty stable job. I have a pretty good job. And I'll probably give tips on how to find a government job and how to get, really good references and all that, how to pass interviews, all that stuff. So the highs, I will say, of working as the only Black person or one of the only Black women in corporate or in whatever industry I was in, was being able to represent other Black women. I think that representation matters. A lot of us don't have that. And I think that me being in those spaces really helped me to become a better advocate for other Black women. So I will advocate in the future, but just only for us or other women, only because I realized that I can't advocate for everybody now. I only advocate for myself from now on. But one thing I will say is that I opened doors for other Black women because of me and because of how I was able to represent us in such a positive way. I believe that it opened up the opportunities for other Black women to be hired and work behind me. Next was making career moves. I had incremental progression. So starting from retail, and now I'm in the public service industry, or public servant. I'm a public servant, so I'm in public service. I think that it really shows that, over time, being able to pivot so much in my life and working in so many different areas really did help me to become a better person, and not only that, but also have more skill sets. I was able to transfer my skills from one industry to another. So I've never had an issue finding a job. Even when I was in Korea, I was teaching, but I used those skill sets and I used that to be able to find the job that I have now and the career that I have now. And I also proved a lot of people wrong. I feel like a lot of people had in their mind of how I would be or what type of stereotype I would be. And I love the fact that I always prove people wrong. And I love the fact that, I never let their stereotypes and their image of me bring me down. You know, at times, of course, I'm human. I can feel emotions, and I was sad a bit, you know, sometimes when I experience a lot of racial incidences. But what I will say that it not only made me stronger, but it made me a better person for the simple fact that I know who I am. I know my worth. I know what I could bring to the table. Now that I have my degrees, y'all, that really catapulted me. Cause now before I used to be a little bit more shy and I used to shrink myself a little bit. But now I I let everybody know, hey, I'm educated. I'm very educated and I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of talent. And they tell me that, especially in the workplace that I work in right now, especially when I work with executives and other people. It speaks a lot. It speaks a lot of your character when people talk about you behind closed doors and it's positive. I had recently my executive director. We had a meeting and he's like, you know, he spoke with other directors and he was like, you know, your name was brought up and everyone was saying how good of a person you are and how good of, like, you know, how they love working with you. And he told me, he was like, yo, like, you know, that's really good that your name is being spoken of so positively and they spoke so highly of you. And he was just giving me, you know, that feedback. And then he said, I can help you, you know, move up. And this is the thing, I'll give more career tips tomorrow because I don't want this to be too long. This was just my career history, but tomorrow I'll focus more on the tips. It's being around different people in different environments. Even though it stretched me, a lot of the times it helped me to know how to navigate those minds, you know, the minefields. So no matter what comes my way, I know that I'm able to handle it because of all the other stuff that I've been through, all the other experiences that I've been through. And I've learned so much during my time in corporate and also in retail and other industries. So I was really stretched in to thrive in new environments and around new people, especially people that don't look like me. I believe that having that experience has really made me a better candidate. And I will say this, I will say when you start working, look for the opportunities, even though like sometimes you'll be tested in negative ways, take that as an opportunity to thrive. And even though I left some of those jobs with negative sentiments, I must say that they really helped me to grow for the simple fact that I had to really humble myself and learn new skills because you're not always going to get along with people. You're not always going to get along with your coworkers. You're not always going to get along with management. So take it as an opportunity to thrive and to do your very best to have the skill sets that you need and to use it to move on to the next position, wherever that may be. Now, the lows again, dealing with workplace drama, jealousy, because a lot of people, they don't take, you know, especially when you're a black woman or a woman of color. I said a person of color, if you're very articulate, you're smart. Some people, they can't handle the greatness. They can't handle the greatness. So now what ends up happening is that they start to get insecure. Remember I told y'all the one girl where it's like, oh, because you're black, you're gonna get hired. No, it's not because I'm black, biatch. It's because I have experience and I know what I'm doing and I'm very educated. Please. But some people, they are threatened by that. So I will just say that you might encounter jealousy. You might encounter it, and that's okay. You're gonna use it to your advantage because you're just going to prove them wrong. That's it. And keep doing what you're doing. Don't let it deter you from what your purpose is at that position. Because your purpose, you went there for a reason. You're going to get what you need, and then you're going to go. That's how it works. Get what you need and leave. Be strategic. Be strategic. Can't go into work thinking you're going to be combative all the time. I'm telling you, I know people say, oh, it's respectability politics. Like, you know, being the non-threatening black woman is not good. I'm telling y'all, that is the way you're gonna make it up in the corporate ladder. I'm sorry to say, and I'm gonna talk more about that tomorrow because this is gonna be an extended series for tomorrow as well, extended episode, extended live, I should say, because I've noticed that a lot of people don't do that, and I know they're like, well, I gotta keep it real. Listen, it's all a game. I'm not saying that you should take your relationships with your coworkers as a game. No, I'm very intentional. If I really like someone, I really like them. And I'm very thankful that I'm in a workplace where I really actually enjoy my coworkers. And some of them I'm friends with outside of work. However, what I will say is that when you're in a position, especially when you're the only person that looks like you got to strategize, and you have to make sure that every move you make is going to be beneficial to your career. And you always got to put yourself in a position where you can be seen, so people, especially people who are higher than you, can give you those opportunities to grow, because they're the ones who are going to be able to push you up. And I know some people, they don't do that and they just go to work and leave. And I used to do that too. But then I realized that that wasn't helping me at all, because people didn't really get to know who I was. And I noticed that the positions that I really enjoyed was where I really built relationships with people. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be best buddies with your coworkers, but at least have a little chit chat with them, little conversations. Like just now, the other day, this one girl, she's so nice. She always said, "Hi, Romy." She's new. Me and her, like the first meeting, like she was a little, she was a little shy or whatever, but now we cool. Like I just asked her about her kids. Hey, you have kids? Oh, I didn't know you had kids. We just started chopping it up, and then now we cool. I just met her last week or 2 weeks ago. But now every time we see each other, how are the kids doing? Did you go Christmas shopping? Did you get this? Did you get that? Little chit chat. Another one, her cat. She's talking about her pet. And I was like, "Oh my God, are you okay? How's your pet doing?" You actually have to build relationships with people, learn how to network with people. I'm telling you, because that's going to serve you. Now your name is going to be in people's space and be like, "Oh, Romy, do you know Romy? Oh yeah, I know Romy. That girl's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah." Because they know you, and they're the ones who hold the power. They're the ones who hold the power. So you have to really get to know your coworkers, get to know people. And I'm not saying, again, you have to be best friends with them, but being able to connect with them on little things really makes a big difference. I'm telling you, so they can humanize you. I know it sucks because some people don't see us as humans, but once you start becoming once you start becoming friendly, I should say, and chatting with people, it starts to humanize you. Be personable. Yeah, you got to be personable. Boss wife, she could give y'all a lesson. My sister, Marsha could tell you how many opportunities and how many doors have opened at the job that she works in now, because people really like her as a human being. Because in the beginning, I'm going to tell y'all, they see your color first. They will see your color first, and whatever stereotypes they have, because remember, the brain is a powerful thing. Even if they don't want to have those stereotypes, because some people, I'm not saying all people have those stereotypes, because some people might not even have any stereotypes of you, but some people will. And they'll be like, "Oh, maybe she's," for me, the stereotype was that I was going to leave because everybody else left in my position. Everybody that had my position, they left. That was a stereotype. And I don't know what other stereotypes that I remember when I first started at my job. People were nice, but you could tell that there was a barrier there. But then as I started talking to them, as I started getting to know them, as I started, when I see them in the morning in the elevator, "Hey, how are you? How are you? How are you doing?" Now you can't get them off of me, child. They just be talking to me about everything. Too much, might I add. But they start to see you as a human, and they start to see you as a person. And now when they see other black people, other black women, they start to see them as people, and they start wanting to hire them, because I'm telling you, your position, especially if you're the only one in your workplace, you matter, because you're going to open doors for whoever's behind you. When I started, again, I didn't see many black women there. Now, in my other building, I'm the only black woman in my branch, but in the other building, there's other black women there now. Now there's other black women there. There are a lot of black men there too. They're starting to hire a lot more. And the reason for that is because, again, one person can open doors for many others. Next is the lows. I would say one of the lows is dress code. Dress code, I always had to be put together. Some of my coworkers come in with slides and flip-flops, and not flip-flops, I wouldn't say flip-flops, but they come in with, more casual clothing. But me, I always put myself together because I know that I'm being seen in a different light. And I think that's one of the negative things I would say, is that I always have to be professional, because I know that I'm not going to get as much grace as my other coworkers who might not be as professional, because I don't have the complexion for that. And it's the truth. We have to. Yeah, we got to always be put together, y'all. So I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. I always had to work twice as hard too. We aren't allowed to slip up at all. At all. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about tomorrow, because again, I don't want this live to go too long, but that's another thing that you got to think about too when you're working in corporate, is that you're making mistakes. you can make mistakes, of course, you're human, but what I'm saying is that they can't be grave mistakes because you're gonna be seen differently than other people. It's just what it is. And you're going to be the one, especially if you're one of the only ones. Yeah, it's something that you gotta look into. And the higher, and one last thing I want to mention, and then I'll read your comment, little mama, that you said, because I want to read your story. The higher you go up, or the higher I went up, I noticed, is the less I see of us. It's sad. I'm not gonna lie, I always get sad when that happens because I'm like, damn. I mean, it's great in a way because I'm like, damn, I have the opportunity to really make a difference. But then it's sad because I'm like, damn, we really don't have representation at all. Like recently, when they had an election, because my province, our provincial government had an election recently, and all of the ministers, everyone that was elected, every ethnic group had representation, and we only had one guy, one black man. That's it. I ain't see no black women up there. For ministers, people in members of parliament, we're very few far in between. So we got a lot of work to do in Canada and also the United States. Oh, hi, Dev Studio. Welcome back. My sister said, oh, Boss Wife said, so true. I'm the only black woman in my department. Yep. I feel that way in my industry too. Little Mama said that. Yep. We're the only ones. And it's like, it's sad because it's bittersweet because you're like, damn, I'm in spaces that other women are not in. That's crazy. Even in school, same thing. The higher I went, the less of us I would see. But it also gives an opportunity for us to kind of thrive in what we're doing. And I'm happy now that a lot of people are taking education seriously, especially women. Black women, we're one of the most educated groups in the US and North America now. Kudos to us. Shout out to us. And we're just gonna keep filling those spaces. Again, and also another thing that I'm gonna mention tomorrow is moving up, because a lot of us are in admin roles or in lower roles, and we need to be in more higher positions. I think that we have great leadership skills, critical thinking skills, and the reason for that is because we were adultified at a young age. I'm telling y'all, we're gonna talk about that more tomorrow. I'm just giving you guys a touch about what I'm gonna talk about tomorrow. We were adultified at a young age. A lot of us were. So we had to learn how to navigate those kind of experiences as children. We were adultified. So then now when it comes to corporate, I noticed that we actually are very quick-witted. Like I'm telling you, people be like, damn, you be so on it. And my sister could attest to that too, because she's the same way. It's like, compared to my brothers, me and my sister, we're thriving in corporate and in leadership roles because we've always had to be that at home. Because my brothers weren't given that opportunity to be that because my mom pretty much babied them. But me and my sister, on the other hand, we were taught to be young women at a young age. And so that gave us, it was a negative thing when I was young. But now that I realize that I'm older, I'm like, actually, that works in our favor because we're able to be leaders in what we're doing. And we're able to be better leaders. And I think Black women, I'm going to say that a lot of us have those leadership qualities, and we need to be in those positions more. We need more leadership position. I noticed that, especially in corporate, they try to have us in administrative roles, because I have noticed that. And we got to start moving ourselves up into better and higher roles. And I think a lot of it has to do with our opportunities. One, and two, I think a lot of us don't have, like you said, little mama had touched on it, and I'm gonna touch upon it more tomorrow, is the confidence thing. Because sometimes we're so good at something and we can't see ourselves in that role because there are no other people that have achieved that role, right, that we can see. So then it becomes more of a challenge for us. But then I think that tomorrow I'm gonna start touching upon how we can move on from the lower roles and go to the higher roles. Admin and support services. Yep, there's a lot of us in admin and support services when we need to be in leadership. Being very honest, we need to be in leadership, and I'm telling you, they need us. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow some more. But I just, I know I talked a lot tonight, but hell, it's Friday. I had time today. And I'm gonna read your comment, little mama, because I know you talked about your experience, and I really want to read it because I might have something to add to that. So you wrote that on my trip, so this is Little Mama's experience. On my trip, there were 3 faculty plus her who was not faculty and just the teacher's wife. And she was talking down to us and talking to me like I was a child. She tried to take our passports for the DMZ tour, and I was like, nope, I'll get my passport tomorrow when we leave to go on the tour. She thought we would be okay with just the U.S. driver licenses. Girl, oh my God, you went on the DMZ tour? I did too. Hold on. She was always yapping, trying to control everything. Even when the Korean tour guides were telling us things, she would go back and change what they said, entitled. I almost snapped at her, OMG, but I didn't want to ruin the experience for the other students. And the thing that bothered me, that let me know that she was about this, was I saw a Korean woman with a very cool visor on, and I made a comment, oh, that's a cool visor. It looks like Star Wars. The woman said Koreans prefer to have white skin. Emphasis on the white. Lil Mama, I'm gonna break it down to you right now. We're gonna talk more about this tomorrow, by the way. Now, was this teacher a white teacher, the Karen teacher, that was making all those remarks? Was she Caucasian? She was white, yeah. She's the one who said Koreans prefer white skin? Yes? She was the one who said Koreans prefer white skin? Yep. Okay. So I'm going to break that down to y'all, and I'm going to talk more about this tomorrow. Thank you for giving me a topic to talk about tomorrow, because I was trying to figure out what I'm going to talk about tomorrow, because I yapped so much today. Let me tell you something about this. So I feel like there's a sense of entitlement when a lot of foreigners go to Korea, especially the ones that don't look like us and that are pale. And I think what it is because they've been so, I would say, preferred and glorified for the last few centuries. And when they get to Korea, they get a wake-up call, because then they realize that Koreans don't give a F about nobody who's not Korean. Period. Now, this is the gag, though. Koreans do prefer white skin, but I have been told by my Korean friends, Lil Mama said, I know they do not like to get tan, but the fact that she put emphasis intentionally on the word white, like women. No, she put white because she thinks that they're the preference, because they've been told that Korean people prefer white skin and Asian people prefer white skin. However, there's a nuance to this, because from what my Korean friends have told me, and especially Dom, what he's told me is that Koreans prefer white skin for the simple fact that back in the day, when they were in the kingdom period, those who worked outside and that were the field workers were tanned because they would be outside. And to show your level of wealth, you worked, like those who had white skin were seen as the more privileged people. So the royalty, people who had money. And the people who worked outside were seen as the darkies. The one who worked in the field, you was sun, that means that you were tan, that means that you are low laborer, that means you're poor. So this is how it started. So white skin to them is more of a status symbol more than colorism itself. And so now, because of the colonial mindset of certain settler societies, they see that as the same as them. They see white skin as the best and the top, because not because of the same reasons that Asians do, but they see it more as I am like a superiority thing. We're smarter than you, we're better than you. Whereas Asians, it was more of like a status symbol for classism. So now when you conflate those two, of course, it seems as if Korean people prefer white skin. That is very true to a certain extent, though. Now, am I saying that Koreans are not racist towards non-white people? Of course they are. But then now, if you notice, when they get to Korea, I'm going to touch on that tomorrow, little mama. I'm going to tell you stories. Because remember, I lived there for 6 years. So what happens now is that some people, they go to Korea thinking their skin is going to get them privileges. And then they F around and find out it won't. It doesn't. Because let me tell you something about Korea. Yes, they prefer white skin on themselves. On them. Themselves. Themselves. Them. Okay? That's what they like. They like that. Okay? So now some people of a different hue, especially when they lead with that, oh, white skin's better, Koreans prefer white skin, they'll go to Korea and they think that they'll be able to get more privileges. And it doesn't work out that way. It won't work out that way. Now, yes, they do get more privileges in the sense that, like, when it comes to the teaching field, a lot of parents do prefer to have white teachers. Why? Because they think that English is spoken best by white people. That's just what it is. That's what they think. That's their mentality, right? Because they associate Americans, white, Canadians, white, UK, people from the UK, white. That's what they associate with that, right? So for them, and remember, that was the brainwashing in the media that used to come out a long time ago. So they see, when they see a black person, they used to not be able to correlate black with black people as being well spoken. Now, mind you, especially black Americans, if you're a black American person, you have been there longer than most people. You were there when the country during the country's inception. Black Americans were there. Descendants of the slaves were there when the country was. You were there as long as the white people were. But because of media and because of the portrayal of black people, it seemed as if we were like just speaking, I don't know, Southern. We don't know how to talk right. We just a whole bunch of hoodlums or hooligans, and we just speak slang all day, right? So now in 2024, that perception has changed because of what? Again, the media has worked to our advantage because of social media. And now we can spin the narrative on our own stories, and we don't just let Hollywood dictate what people see, because now people can see everyday people like me talking, and they're like, oh, there's this black girl. She seems very articulate. She's very smart. Boom. So now back to the point of what I'm making is that some people, especially some Karens and some Kens, they come to Korea with that colonial mindset, thinking that the skin is going to be for them to take over everything. And that's why she said Koreans prefer white skin. However, what I will tell you is that not all Koreans think that way. Exhibit A, my husband and other people, right? And so I think that, again, I'm really sorry you had that experience. And I will say this though, like, I'm not surprised that happened, because a lot of the racial incidences that have been going on in Korea, if it's not Korean people that have been part of this racial racism that happens in Korea, is usually a Caucasian person. I hate to say it, my white folks, I'm sorry y'all, but it's the truth. I have to be honest. Lil Mama said, and the fact that I was just talking about the visor, not the lady's skin, and she went straight saying that, LOL. Like, no, because that was in her heart. She been waiting to say that, boy. She was waiting to be racist. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it comes out, and some people, and I know, you know what? I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna be yapping forever if I don't stop myself, because I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. What I will say is this. Some people, especially when they go to Korea, they have that, one, like I told you, the settler mindset. And then two, you can tell by the way they interact with Koreans that they think they're superior. They think they're superior because they are this, right? She projected her insecurities onto you. She did. And yes, I would love to hear more. Oh, I have a lot of experiences. Whoo, I have a lot. She did. And then the thing is, she brought, like I said, they bring the politics that are back home to Korea. But the gag is that Koreans do not believe what they believe. Most of them anyways, majority. So what would end up happening is that, I've noticed this too, is that a lot of black people would feel more comfortable in Korea, and they would hate when a lot of Caucasian people would hate, especially white Americans, they would hate when black people would be like, well, I feel safer in Korea than in America. Why would you say that? We're more diverse. Because there's a different level of dislike in Korea versus America. For example, and I'm going to touch more on this tomorrow. I don't know why I keep yapping, but I don't want to lose my train of thought. That's why. In America, racism, you can feel the hate. It's like they want to kill you and skin you alive. When you go to a sundown town, It's an eerie feeling. It feels more like you are going to be, you know, like you can literally feel the hatred coming out of some people because they don't like you, right? So the racism is totally different. Whereas in Korea, because remember, we don't have no beef with no Korean people. We've never been colonized by them. We've never had any issues with Koreans. Koreans have never had any issues with us, I would say, as black people or people of color. So then when the difference is very different. Like, so like when you experience a racial attack in Korea, again, I've never experienced it, but I've heard from other people, it is a different experience than in America. And when you experience it, or in Canada, I would say, or in North America, when you experience racial issues in Korea, it's different because even though people might not like you, you don't feel threatened by it. It's more of like, I don't like you, you don't like me, cool. But when you experience a racial experience in North America, you feel it. You can feel it. And it comes with hatred. I'm telling y'all, the hatred is crazy. Like, it makes a big difference. And that's why you can see some people, especially a lot of black people, they love living in Korea. They have no issues. And even though some people be like, Koreans are so racist, how could you guys still keep living there? Because it's safer. Somebody could be racist against me in Korea. I don't feel like I'm going to die because of it. Keep it real. But if I'm in North America, I got to be on guard because I can. Something sinister might happen to me. You feel me? So anyways, I'll unpack that tomorrow because that's a whole nother subject. We're going to talk a little bit. I'm gonna frame my references tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll keep it about I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the corporate thing, but also being in leadership roles, and I'm gonna talk about my experiences in Korea as a black woman. I think I'm gonna talk about that. I think it's time. I've been holding back from talking about that for a long time. I don't think I've ever done it. I think I did one video about being black in Korea, but it was very broad, and I think I was in Korea about 2 years at that point, or 3 years, but now I have 6 years of experience. And also I'm married to a Korean man, so I think that I'm gonna start sharing more about my experiences abroad and just navigating being in Korea as a black woman, and also my experiences being in different places. Yeah, spill the tea, girl. I got a lot of tea. I was watching some of your old videos. They are fun, really. Yo, I just be talking mess, but you know what? Like, you know what? Okay, I promise I'm gonna go soon. You know what's so funny though is like, hold on. You know what's so funny is like I was very honest, y'all. You were so cute. I was so cute, y'all. And I was like 30 pounds lighter, maybe 20 pounds lighter. Hello, Romy. Sorry I missed this live. I watched the replay. The topic was interesting yesterday. Yeah, it was, and no problem, no worries. Tomorrow I'm gonna go live earlier because Dom and I have to go apartment hunting. Yeah, y'all. We finding a new place, y'all. We gonna move. But my videos, I was very candid. Yo, you know what? I'm gonna watch my videos back tonight, and I'm gonna fill in the gaps for y'all. I'm gonna see what I've said, and I'm gonna fill in the gaps for y'all and really tell y'all my true experiences living abroad, and how what I experienced and what my friends experienced too. And I'm gonna talk about black privilege abroad. That's a very important topic. I'm gonna talk about how you're perceived as a black person abroad versus when you're at home. And trust me, this is not something you don't want to miss, because especially if you plan on living abroad or traveling abroad, in certain places, your black privilege will make a difference on how you're treated as a black person. I know people don't talk about that. Your passport makes a difference. In some places it's passport privilege. It's not necessarily your race. So it's like, okay, as soon as you start talking, they like, all right, cool. They see you as a passport, right? So we're gonna unpack that. But anyways, okay, I won't talk too long, y'all. I think tonight I had too much coffee, so I'm a little hyped up. Oh, by the way, so you both are moving up. Congrats on looking for a new crib. Thank you, CFT. Thank you. Let me tell y'all, it's been hard. It's been rough for your girl. Like honestly, I'm gonna talk a little bit tomorrow about why we're moving. Originally I didn't plan on moving so soon. I honestly thought I was gonna stay in this apartment at least until we buy a house, but it's not looking like we're gonna buy a house anytime soon, which is okay. You know, sometimes you have a little setback, but we need a bigger space. Like we're getting. I'm gonna talk about the rental stuff tomorrow. You know what? Tomorrow's gonna be a rant too. You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, like remember I told you on Sunday. Remember when I had the conversation about using the resources that you have? I feel like the advice I'm giving to you guys, honestly, is stuff that I'm also learning myself. So it's like we're both learning, or we're all learning at the same time. I'm telling y'all, like, you're excited for tomorrow, girl. I'm gonna spill tea. You know what? Tonight I'm gonna think of all the stories that I have about Korea, and I'm gonna spill tea tomorrow. I'm gonna think of all the stories that I've had for years and years and years, and that I've never shared because one, I was in Korea, so I had to be careful because Korea has some really strong defamation laws. So I was very, very careful about what I say, how I say it, who I'm talking about. But I'm gonna tell y'all about the experience when Dom. Let me tell you. Okay, remember, I'm telling you guys this so you guys can remind me tomorrow morning because I'm gonna go live early. Your funniest videos are the dating ones. You have me rolling on the floor from laughter. The horrible teeth one was hilarious, girl. Whoo, horrible teeth. That man, he took the cake though. But you know what? Because of him, I found Dom. But let me tell y'all what happened. I'm gonna tell y'all the time Dom went crazy for your girl. He crashed out because of me. He crashed out on my university because they was trying your girl, and he was like, "Not my wife. Y'all ain't gonna try my wife, y'all." Let me tell you. After that, I was like, "Put him on him, make him wanna marry me." I was. Dom went crazy for your girl. He crashed out because of your. When I tell you, he was not playing about Romy Rome because we were fiance at the time. Y'all, he was not playing about his girl. He went off on them people at my university. I gotta tell y'all the story. That was a crazy story. And let me think of other incidents. I'm telling y'all this now so y'all can remind me tomorrow because y'all know I like to talk a lot and sometimes I be getting distracted. The ADHD be kicking in, so y'all gotta remind me. Tomorrow I'm gonna talk about Dom too. Dom's crash out story. And what else? I'm gonna talk about my immigration experience, so I'll talk about that. Immigration experiences in Korea. And my man, thank you to my man, girl. And my man, thank you to. When I tell y'all, Dom crashed out about your girl. Oh, thank you, CFT. Thank you. I try my best. Sometimes it's hard to remember because it's been so long, right? You try to remember little details, but I just be giving y'all the overall tea. But the Dom one, the Dom crash out. I think I still have the audio, y'all. I'm gonna play the audio. Y'all. I still got the audio. I saved it. It was insane. That's a crazy story. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all about that. I never shared it before. And Dom, at first I was gonna talk about it in a story time, but Dom was like, no, don't do it because you're still in Korea and da da da. Now we in Canada. I could talk about whatever I want. Girl, I got receipts. Oh yeah, one thing Romy Rome does is she saves emails. Y'all saw the email I had from 2015. I saved my receipts. Absolutely. I'm like Zaina. That's why I liked her in the Ultimatum reunion when she had the QR code on her nail. That's me. I am Zaina. Zaina is me. LOL. As long as he says it's okay, haha. I'm already giggling. Girl, Dom is gonna be fine. He don't care. We in Korea now. I mean, we're in Canada now. What they gonna do? What they gonna do? But what I am gonna do is I'm probably gonna slow down people's voices so y'all don't recognize it. But y'all, I got tape. I'm gonna see if I still got that recording. My sister knows about it too. Because I had called her about it. And I'm going to tell y'all about, what else stories I got? I got a lot of stories. I ain't never told y'all about Mountain, did I? This boy named Mountain. I ain't never tell y'all about Mountain before. I'm going to tell y'all about Mountain. And then what else? What else stories I got? Yeah, I got a few stories, but from other people mostly. Like I had, yeah, we gonna talk about my experience at the university. We gonna talk about my friends' experiences a little bit. I'm gonna touch a little bit upon because it's their stories to tell. I won't tell. Oh my God, you didn't. Oh, I didn't tell y'all about Mountain Chat. That was crazy. That was the only time. Chat. That was a crazy time. It wasn't that crazy of a story though. It was just like this little boy. I ain't got time for him. Um, yes, I love Ewa. Y'all gonna get me caught up in Ewa though. Ewa was a time. What else? What else happened at Ewa? There's a little few things. This is the school I actually want to go to. Okay, so Ewa, I'm gonna talk about a little bit about Ewa tomorrow too. I'll talk about Ewa. Ewa was a, we gonna talk about it. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I'm trying to think of other things. Okay, okay. I'm not gonna stay too long. I won't stay too long tonight. I'm gonna think. So tonight, I'm gonna think about some things I want to share with you guys. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100. Y'all already know. I don't sugarcoat nothing. I don't sugarcoat anything. If I don't need to, I'll be respectful about it. But y'all know me. I even put my family's business on Front Street. I put everybody out. I don't care. You could be my grandma, my grandpa. You could be my mama, my daddy. I might not say everything, but if I got a story to tell and I was involved in it, I'm gonna be respectful about it. But best believe you're gonna get the truth from me. I'll let you know the real. I'll let you know the good, bad, and ugly. And yeah, I'll keep it at that. So, anyways, it was great talking to y'all tonight. Tomorrow morning, I will be going live early because we got to go apartment hunting at 11 our time. So, I'll go live 10:09 because I'm going to leave at 10. I'm going to go live at 7 a.m., which would be 11 a.m. your time. All right. 11 a.m. your time if you're on the East Coast. I'm going 7 a.m. Pacific time, which is my time. So, be on the lookout for that. All right. I'm glad you're excited for tomorrow. And also, guys, give me topics to talk about too. Like, you see, you guys are giving me topics. I'm happy. So just always, anytime you think of something, like bring it up to me. I don't mind talking about stuff because sometimes it'd be hard for me to think of topics to talk about. So y'all let me know. But anyways, have a good night, y'all. I love y'all the long way. We will talk later. This was a long live. And see y'all tomorrow morning with the tea. All right. Bye, y'all. Thank you, CFT. Bye, y'all.